new files in there for you.
Okay.
Leave.
Yep, we are live.
Cool.
Let's see here.
I'm gonna post in the announcements channel real quick.
You know, we could just like program our Discord to do events to where it'll alert people on time.
Yeah, I mean the problem is we're very rarely on time. But yes, I do get your meaning. Maybe I'll try and get in the habit of doing that.
I see 33. I don't see. Oh, there it is. Ender. Damn near killed her.
All right, there we go.
Let's see.
What is up, Tarkus and
We live? Oh.
Goofyfer and World Teller?
Hey, Tarkus, you fight Archtemper Ray Dow yet?
What's that?
Yo, what's on that armor?
I think he's talking Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I was about to say I just put it together. It's definitely Monster Hunter.
Is the fight actually tough though? Or is it like tougher wilds? Oh, let me see. Is it latent power nonsense?
Katie seals it up yet, so I'll pull it up after we're done with trailer talk.
That's fine. I mean, I can also save my thoughts on that for the second segment.
Yeah, we can do that too.
It's mostly just final thoughts, wrap up kind of stuff. So
okay.
Stamina surge, Wex, latent power, maximum might, evade extender. So no new skills. 5 latent power was max, right? That's not like latent power secret or anything.
These are all words strung together in sentences, but I have no idea what they mean.
Lame. Is there any like standout pieces? Oh, I'll have to look at it. Are the weapons any good? No, there's no new weapons, right? Or wait, is there? Or is it just the armor?
Okay, how about watch trailer?
let's watch the trailer. I don't.
New weapons would be sick because
We're watching trailers now, Brad. This is trailer talk. What the fuck?
This is what Carlos was playing.
Oh, we've seen this before.
Was he playing a demo or is it actually out?
Well, he bought this on Steam.
No, it came out last week, I think.
Yeah, this is our Steam library. Is it actually good, Carlos, or is it just memey because of the FMV, you know?
It looks like a Carlos joint. That's for sure. What in the actual fuck am I looking at?
I mean, it looks sick, but is it actually good? Is this coming for the Slay the Spire 2 crown, you know what I'm saying? Or is it just some meme game?
I mean, Chris Davis is the meme game player, right?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like the corny memes. Carlos is there for the horror memes. Arcus, you hear me? Are there new Archtemper Raid weapons, or is it just the armor?
Gotta hand it to him. That is a weird ass trailer.
Oh my god. I want to know how many
That
hands
was
were
actually
were.
really not good.
I want to know how many hands were involved in the making of that.
Whoa,
of that
shh!
game.
New Game of Thrones game. Shh. We love Game of Thrones so much.
It is very strange that they waited this long to make a Game of Thrones game, and they're just going back to using the likenesses from the show. I mean, I guess it makes sense because that's most people's touch point, I guess. But
Is this a phone game? It's a phone game, isn't it?
no. We've known
Yeah,
about
it's a
this for a
phone
while.
game. Yeah, we've
It-
known
it-
it's a phone game.
It's a phone game?
Yeah.
Are you fucking what? Okay.
Won't believe the horrors you've seen.
What?
Convince them otherwise.
This would have made so many waves if it were a console
It
game.
won't just be the North
Well,
that
not
bears.
that either.
So-
but, you
It'll
know,
be all of us.
if it was a console game, it'd look a lot better.
Because
What
winter
part of this is a
is coming.
phone game?
All of it.
All of it.
This does not look like a phone. What
But,
the
but Nick,
actual?
was the last time you don't know what's going on in the world of
I
phone
don't.
games?
I,
I mean, people are playing Fortnite and Genshin Impact on their phones. Phones are powerful.
From our first closed
Wait.
beta in January through Steam Next Fest and early access.
is this Game of Thrones game being made in Japan?
Probably.
It suddenly
China,
feels. Oh,
right. I
is
mean,
it? I don't know. I can't really hear.
yeah. If we can
I
get
turned
a
it
little more
down
audio,
because we were talking.
No, crank this shit up.
Okay.
I mean, China is. I mean, just as
With
unexpected
cross-play
too, right?
support across Steam, Epic Game Store, Google Play
Nick
I mean, it's
doesn't know
also
the
on Steam.
Yeah,
difference.
it makes more sense now that I know it's a mobile game.
and the App Store. We're
Or not-
excited and
I guess-
also
yeah, I
a
guess
little
mobile
nervous
game's
to
the right
welcome even
terminology.
more players into the world of Game of Thrones King's Road and hear what you think.
I'm
The
stunned
development
that
team will
this.
continue doing our best to improve
Because
the
when this
game
was first
and stay
announced, I don't
closely
think any of us
connected with your
pegged it
feedback.
as a mobile game.
Thank
I
you
don't know.
once
Yeah,
again.
we've
I don't
we've
recall
known
this at
like
all.
almost since the reveal. Since reveal, we've kind of known. They've
All right. Well. Okay. Well, I guess it's over now. No technology. That's not what I was gonna say. Jesus Christ.
here's another. Speaking of China, yet another one of these Chinese / Korean Souls likes taking the
That I
world by
love.
storm. These
That
classic.
I fucking love.
I mean, like, man, this is like, if you want an 81 on Metacritic, I mean, on Fantasy Critic, you go for one of these because it seems like they can't fail. Like, these things just, they're dependable, you know what I mean? I'd almost want to say they're tax-free. This just looks like a, yeah, I wonder if I picked the right trailer here.
I'm about to say what. What the
It's
fuck is
just
this?
a costume DLC trailer or something.
For
I think I've
DLC
never
for
heard
what
of
though?
There was this one boss fight.
This isn't Phantom Blade, right?
No.
No.
What is it?
This is the game they said it was.
It's
Wuchang.
Wuchang Fallen Feathers.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
I'm
I'm losing track
like.
of them. I'm,
This is a Wukong.
that
Like.
that name is too much like Wukong.
They just all sound the same to you, don't they, Nick?
No, god damn it! I gotta stop talking. I mean, it is. It is.
one. You gotta admit.
I guess I did, but it is very similar sounding, and it looks similar.
And it'll end up being an 81 on OpenCritic.
But secretly like a 90, because like that's what's left.
No. But like they've all been that, right?
Yeah.
There's been Liza P, Stellar Blade, Wukong. We've had we also had the one Ed picked up.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Berserker
I will play
Kazan,
this
first Berserker Kazan.
because these definitely appeal to me.
They're all 81s.
The
I
previous
love-
trailer for this game looks so much
I
better.
love this specific formula
I just posted the wrong trailer. That
as
I
an
was supposed to-
85.
There was a boss fight trailer.
Okay, I really want to play this, but all the marketing has made me very worried for it.
Where'd you find all these things?
I remember the first trailer looking really cool.
It had such an energy to it. It was so mobile and
Mobile.
vertical focused. Like,
I think he's talking about
Mobility.
traversal.
All the
Traversal.
readers I've met say the same thing.
Yeah, but
now
you
it's
know,
all this fucking like.
You cannot control what happens up there.
You're a lore boy, man. What are you talking about?
It's
But
got a
you can
look.
decide how
It's
you
got a
deal
good
with it.
look.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, but isn't the developer liked now? Because they're shooter people like.
Yeah.
They're,
No, they made the finals.
The finals
And
is
these
like,
are all
is
ex
well
Battlefield
liked.
devs.
Is the finals successful?
Yeah. Well, I
It did
mean,
well.
define success in this day and age.
Or that
right?
for that genre? I mean, it's just like I don't remember. I feel like I stopped hearing about it almost immediately, but I don't put my ear to the ground with that genre.
Kill for that.
Yeah, I mean,
much,
it didn't
though.
like set the world on fire, but people play it and it's well liked. Not a ton of trailers tonight. I mean, this one you could skip this one. I thought this was gonna be.
You
want
wanna skip it?
Well, I will say this game came out this year and it got good reviews. This is the follow-up Galgun Metroidvania from. Well, this is Inti Creates. They're just like good at making this kind of game.
Oh god, this is that Galgun?
What?
Are there multiple Galguns?
Oh, Gal Guardian.
Y'all know what Galgun is, right?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Galgun was the
What the
one where you
fuck?
like shoot schoolgirls in their private areas because they're crushing on you or something.
Yeah, they're
Like
after
a
your
light
dick.
gun game. This is a spin-off game, but it's like a Metroidvania made by the Inti Creates people. These are the, they make like the blood-stained
They make competent
games.
Metroidvanias.
Retro. Yeah. Like all their shit's pretty solid, and like this one got pretty decent reviews. But I mean, it's like mid-80s right now. But this trailer is more just like updates that are coming to the game, so you can skip it. It's not like a proper trailer here.
Okay.
Gal Guardians. This one got a release date. I still think this game looks sick.
Oh, this does look pretty sick. I forgot about this. Damn.
This is very busy.
Yeah, this is from the developer that makes. I mean, they make busy games.
They make busy games?
Yeah, I mean this kind of side-scrolling. Well, it's like borderline shoot 'em up. What do they call it?
Every time it pulls in the camera and hides the UI, it feels like there's too much going on screen for me.
Well, that's because you're a puss, dude. You gotta buck up.
I mean, I just
You know.
I guess I would be okay if I just played it after a while, but there's a lot happening.
May 19th, baby. That's soon.
4 days after Doom.
Motion Wreck. This sounds familiar.
Oh, this game looks sick too. Speaking of sick-looking games,
Oh my god.
yeah, don't ever.
Dude. Shit. I don't know what this is, but I love it.
Okay, calm down, dude. You've not even seen. You're just now seeing the core mechanic. Now you can say it. Well, just wait. It gets even more sick.
Now I can say I love it. I was just commenting on the visual style. I love the visual
You
style.
would, you graphics whore.
I am a graphics hoe, okay? I like graphics.
At least you admit it. Other people, they won't admit
What's
it.
wrong with liking things that
They'll be
look
like,
nice?
oh, I just like Clair Obscur, not because it's gorgeous, but because, it's tactically rich.
This
Like,
is
shut the fuck
I feel
up,
like
dude.
I
this is
feel
going
like
to
I've
hurt my
earned.
brain.
I feel like I've earned enough street cred at this point, having played games that aren't.
You can play a lot of ugly games, though.
But it's not usually because I'm actively choosing not to play them. It's because there's not enough time in the world to play half the shit out there.
And if you're gonna play something pretty or versus ugly, you might as well play the pretty thing. Am I right?
I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
You're more of like you play pretty games, but with a dirty soul, right? Like Days Gone. Dirty on the inside, or it's ugly on the inside. Just
Shut
kidding.
up.
To me, my soldiers!
We will talk. We should talk about Days Gone. We'll talk about it here in a second. What is this shit? This is the new.
This looks like a PS2 game.
This is the new Double Dragon game. By
some fight too.
No, this is like PS3 360.
no, it's like
Really
PS2 like looking
This
shit.
is where
dude.
I
this
bring
is
No, this feels like that transition period to HD, in which they tried.
You have no idea what
They-
you just stepped
this
didn't have
this
the fidelity.
developer is
the park.
the wrestling guys, the dudes who made wrestling games for years.
What?
What's it called?
But it said Arc System Works. Like,
No,
are they
no,
publishing this?
Yeah, they're just publishing. No, it's
Okay,
developed by,
I was gonna say, like, what
by
happened?
Ukes. It's developed by Ukes.
This is a casino. You've got to put something on the line. If you survive this, then maybe,
Y'all don't know about
maybe I'll grace you
I don't.
with
I
my
can't say that I do.
They aren't wrestleheads, I suppose.
Let's find
Ukes,
all your
they made
weak
wrestling
spots.
games for years.
I shall take your heads as a gift
I mean,
for
the
him.
last Double Dragon Neon was supposed to be pretty alright. Like,
That was like decades ago, bro.
yeah,
That was
well,
forever.
it was like 6-7 years ago. But
Someone worth fighting.
These dudes made like
Into the line, dogs.
they made like all the wrestling games in
Won't
the
hurt anyone else while I'm around.
early 2000s, man. Not like
might
not like the best ones, but like SmackDown and shit.
dragon
Royal Rumble.
soldiers to take over this land. One
WrestleMania.
nation under me.
when I focus myself
It is
and look
time
at
we
this and think of it as like
settle The
a
only way
traditional
these
side
These are also
brawler,
the
with one
the
side
Royal
makes sense.
the Rumble Roses people,
Face me.
which was their
Let's see
wrestling
just
game,
what you're
but without
capable
like
of.
the wrestling license, like the
Yeah, I remember that.
Dusty Chicks wrestling game.
yeah.
Busty Chicks. This is like the longest trailer I've ever seen in my life.
Well, everything's long when it's ugly, right, Nick?
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
It's the longest trailer talk in Nick's life.
This is the longest, ugliest game I've ever seen in my life.
Aw.
We are going
I'll
to talk about this
consider
on the podcast, right?
Would never make it.
Oh, thank God.
What?
You have no idea.
said you wanted
what
to
I
be
stuck out here.
No, I was going to talk about it when the trailer popped up.
Oh.
Because it's getting a glow up. It's getting the fans love it glow up.
I mean,
Well, I think more. I think it's less of a glow up, and it's not being taxed as hard anymore. People were being mean about this game at launch. And I think it's
they were.
It showed
and
in
it
the
was
reviews.
bullshit.
It's like
It was
we don't
bullshit.
care about this stupid fucking zombie game. All we care about is The Last of Us. Why does this even exist?
Choice.
Go away. Shut up.
I love this game so
And all
much.
the fans of it were like, "Yo, this was harshly." I mean, like people were way too harsh on this game. And I think the reviews that are coming for the remaster more reflect how people actually feel about the game, because it was like a pretty big jump in score, like a 10-point jump in score, which is huge, right? Most remasters, especially these PS5, like why do we already have this remaster? Those scores don't even usually go up; they usually go down.
What's
So to
dumb
see
though is that
this one
like
jumps so high is significant.
what's dumb though is that like the enhancements they made, while they're welcome, they're not like
This is Hugo
they're not
Martin,
like
game
necessary.
director on Doom: The Dark Ages.
Yeah, they're
reporting
not-
to you
they're not
live from
necessary.
the offices here at id
But
Software.
what I'm saying is,
Well,
like,
actually, it's a
despite all
report.
that, the fact
That's
that like there's a huge jump,
We're
while
here
like
today to
the
talk
Horizon
about Doom:
remaster,
The
whatever,
Dark
that
Ages,
score went
releasing
down by
May
like 5
15th
points.
on PlayStation
You know what I
5.
mean? So to see
That's
the
right
opposite
around the
is
corner. I can't
reflective of the narrative.
I
Just
think
play the shit.
This is the best Doom game we've ever made. We gave this
With the talking
everything
heads in a
back.
Doom
We left
trailer,
no
just feels
piece
so
unpolished.
wrong.
We've got 22 levels.
That is true. That is true.
Just show the
Doom
fucking
is
game.
Doom has always been a series where it's like just let the game speak for itself. Maybe more than anything, just
Yeah, but Hugo
Come
Martin
on,
has
man.
also been a pretty good brand ambassador. He's got that humility
Okay,
and realistic
that's the
talk
most
about the
corporate
brand.
speak. Whatever, dude. You just wanted to show everyone you know his name.
I'm
No one
gonna
cares
I'm gonna,
about that
I'm gonna
fuck.
start calling Chris Davis CEO.
And awesomely brutal weapons. But if you've been
Or,
following along,
The
Why
is
difference
Chris
with
Davis-
Inspector Gadget? He's
I don't
facing away
want
from
to
us,
see
petting
what's
his
on
cat. You know what I
screen.
mean?
I told you I'm on blackout with this game.
combat
Who is worried about spoilers for a fucking Doom game? What are you talking about?
I don't care about story spoilers. I care about experience spoilers.
Well, I've got a good one.
Okay. Absurd. Absurd.
I was like, why is Chris Davis
All right, you
facing
can
away
look.
like
You
a
can look
like
now,
a
bro.
like a James Bond villain? Like he's sitting
You
in the
can look,
chair
bro.
facing away.
Oh wait, no, it's not over. How long is this shit?
I don't know. You're the
They're
one who
showing
put it on here,
concept
bitch.
art.
Yeah, concept
They're
art.
showing concept art.
Yeah,
Oh,
but what an
good, yeah.
experience it is. Can we get a little more audio?
I turned it down because y'all were talking.
Yeah, but I think they can hear us.
I just don't want the voiceover to kind of.
Nah.
This is a 5-minute trailer. I mean, I'm excited for Doom, but I don't know if I need to watch a 5-minute trailer for
Well,
it.
we don't got many trailers tonight, but you can skip if you really want. I didn't know Chris Davis is being so precious about this.
I've been like this since like the first trailer.
He attacks with relentless pressure, and at range releases a flurry
Whoa,
of
new enemy
psionic
type
attacks
just
that
dropped.
block your projectiles and rip through your precious health. But fear not, because embedded in his attacks are parry
Dude, the
windows
ball
that
and
a
chain
skilled
looks pretty
Doomslayer
sick.
should be
It
able to
does.
exploit should he or
Well, see, you already fucking know, dude. You're watching
You
shit.
fucking just outed yourself.
It was in the first trailer.
This kind of aggression.
Was it though? I don't think.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Something about this trailer, like the graphics,
with the biggest demons
look like they've taken a downgrade for something.
No,
I don't know.
no, this
Like
is
this
just
looks like a
game
Turok
trailers, dude.
boss.
No,
After you've dispatched with the Cosmic Baron,
just game
be
trailers.
careful,
This is a Switch 2
because rising
version.
above the dark horizon, you'll find the
That is
powerful
possible.
Cacodemon,
That's
a hybrid
not
between the two
unrealistic.
dimensions and
I'm excited to
uniquely
play it.
designed.
Hopefully, it's not as like
This floating mass of
high
telepathic
maintenance as
terror will
Doom
stun
Eternal.
players with his advanced
That's
shield
my
attacks
only
and
request.
cripple you
I
with his
think
But
it's.
it,
I think
I'm
it's
telling
gonna
you,
be.
it don't look low maintenance.
You
It
can
looks
counter
just as
these
high
enemies'
maintenance.
assaults
But
with
like,
Yeah.
I can't even really tell because there's no fucking UI when they show gameplay.
Oh,
No, but it
yeah,
just
I mean,
looks-
that's not a problem though. I mean, like, but also they've made the glory kills dynamic now, so you're actually doing them instead of a pre-canned animation.
I mean, I get that, and that's cool, but like, there was feature creep, I think, in Doom Eternal.
Mechanics creep. Systems
Mechanics creep, yeah.
I think it had a
got
great
too
combat
busy.
loop. I fucking love Doom Eternal.
Yeah, we know.
I mean, I like Doom Eternal too, but like, I'm just saying, I think I still prefer Doom 2016.
Yeah, rip and tear, man. Not rip and combo and get some ammo. Now get some armor. Now get some health. Now get some. Now, not too close. Not too far away. Oh, he's gonna block that weapon. Up, fight this guy for 20 minutes. Yeah.
Did y'all play the DLC?
No, I didn't play any of that shit.
You didn't play Doom Eternal?
It will all look amazing on your
Why?
PlayStation 5.
Because he's Brad.
It came out when there was more interesting video games to me. I don't know. I was playing Leah too.
Why
We just
can
look- we
Brad
just
say
look this
that?
shit up.
Why can Brad say that? But when I do the
Anybody
same
can
thing,
say that.
you tell me that I'm picking games based on how pretty they are,
Yeah.
not because I think there's genuinely more interesting games that appeal to me.
You played Doom
I'm just
Eternal.
I did.
Empowering our team
I
to
mean,
make
the
better
the
art
flying
faster.
dragon looks pretty
The
sick, I
Intech
guess.
8 is a purpose-built engine.
But I mean, is it something you
specific
could just
to
use
Doom
whenever
the
you
Dark
want,
Ages.
or I mean,
With
I
performance
don't
that's
know.
buttery
I mean,
smooth.
it's supposed to be
find that
semi-open
This
worlds.
game will play
How much you want to bet that like Chris Davis knows more about this game than 90% of people?
I know more about
95%
this
of
game than I
people on this
want
planet?
to know.
We still have yet
No,
to
but
share,
you
we
know
just
more
want
than the
to give
person
you
who's
so
not
many
even like
fans
trying to
Probably
actively
not.
avoid it. I just
Cannot wait to share this
disagree.
experience.
You know more than me,
You're
Nick.
you're literally facing away from the screen, walking
Yes.
us through the mechanics of the game.
It plays fantastic on the PlayStation 5 and of course the PlayStation 5 Pro.
You're quoting
There
it
will
word
be so
for
many
word.
things to see, abilities to unlock, and demons to crush in Doom the Dark Ages.
If somebody
when it
told me you
releases
worked on this
your
game,
phone.
I'd believe them.
So from all of us at id, thank you so much for your time and continue.
Why is this guy such a
See you
good
soon.
brand ambassador to you, or whatever the fuck you said?
Because he's been doing it ever since like Doom 2016.
If I don't even
I
know
think-
who he is he really that good of a brand ambassador? Ah, this one's for you, Nick. You can turn around, Chris Davis.
I'm turning around.
So then,
Oh,
Doc,
this is
you
the
look like-
Eternal follow-up.
quite dead.
Who's the bad guy from Dr. Claw or whatever? From Inspector Gadget? You know,
Oh,
he's
this
always
is good.
facing away and petting his cat. You were giving
Dr. Claw.
Dr. Claw.
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
Yeah.
Rest in
You
pink.
should have been
Phil.
petting your cat.
Wait, what am I? Is this the one with Rahul Cooley?
Who? Oh, Nick.
What game is this? Oh, is this Dune? Oh, it's Dune. Fuck.
Yeah, this is that,
Story
that
trailer.
MMO game that they just recently
Yeah.
delayed.
Why would you say this is Nick coded? It's,
You're all
it's
about
an
Dune.
MMO. I like
You love-
Dune, but this is an MMO.
Yeah, but you always loved the idea of playing one of those. You're like, I could play that.
I'm never gonna say that
It's
out
an
loud
MMO
again.
survival game.
I'm never gonna play that. I'm never gonna say that out loud again around Brad ever again.
It's like
What, a rabbit?
I
but if
really
you had
wish
a
there was.
game night or something. You'd be like stoked to try this, probably.
I really wish there was a awesome single player story driven semi-open Dune game. Like that would be the Doom game I would be.
You've
interested in.
described literally every game. Like, that's literally the video game you want for every single thing on
Yes.
the planet.
Yes. 100%.
You just name XIP and you're like, I want a semi-open world, single-player game, beautiful high production values, no multiplayer elements, and it'll make me cry.
100%. 110%. Yes, that is my thing. It's kind of like how you would turn every game into a tactics game.
I mean, I gotta be honest, a Dune
Am I
Tactics
wrong?
game is
Am
not
I
only
wrong?
a good idea, but it's literally
You're gonna
what
tell
the,
me I'm wrong,
what the
Doug?
video game series was way back in the day. The first RTS was a Dune game.
That's true. Yeah.
I just realized Brad,
Conquer.
when Brad doesn't, when Brad like needs to clear his throat because he's obviously ill right now. The longer he waits to clear his throat, the more he starts to sound like RFK Jr.
Oh Jesus!
I'm
You
sorry.
want to talk about vaccines real quick, Brad?
No.
Well, you know, you could tell me whatever you want. I don't observe the news.
Fighting and living?
I was
this
purely commenting
Elena?
on your voice.
Of course, we know this is Elena.
The fight to the death.
As we
I don't know.
featured her teaser.
You said
a couple
Elena,
of
and
weeks
I was
ago.
like, from Uncharted?
Yeah, this is her gameplay trailer. We featured her teaser a couple weeks ago, which is probably why you know it's Elena.
You dance with me.
You think she's fighting DJ because he looks the most like Eddie Gordo, and this is like, fuck you, check out our sexy Eddie Gordo.
Honestly, I was thinking it. I didn't want to say it out loud.
I mean, he's got the green pants. I mean, this is definitely like Elena beats the shit out of Eddie Gordo. The trailer. Honestly, I wish Elena was in Tekken. Fuck the new Eddie Gordo. Yeah, this is the Elena I like. Fuck that new hair. Her classic outfit.
This is the classic outfit.
Yeah, this is her Street Fighter 3 outfit.
I too appreciate
But
this.
more scantily clad.
Yes. Well, isn't that her original?
Yeah, it's her OG.
Yeah. This is my preferred outfit.
I couldn't imagine why.
I'm not fucking with the new hair. The long hair on her other outfit. I'm not fucking with it. She's always been a cool character. But I mean, everybody in Street Fighter 3 is cool. That was the whole thing. It's like, oh, by the way, all these characters you know and love, they're all gone. Check out all these new characters. Street Fighter 3 was such a crazy.
It was.
It was such a crazy thing to go from like, oh, by the way, the landmark fighting game that put the genre on the map. We're gonna do a sequel with all these new characters, and all your favorites are just gone. I mean, they eventually through the different versions of Street Fighter 3 brought back a lot of the classic characters, but it was still like so jarring at first.
All there was Ryu and Chun-Li. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh.
Oh God! Road to early access. Kill me.
Hello, I'm Anthony.
This is a
Gallegos,
talking head
design
video,
lead on
but
Subnautica 2. the next game.
I
in
was
the
just
Subnautica
blown
series.
away that Anthony
Whether you're
Gallegos
new
is
to
design
Subnautica
lead on
or returning for
Subnautica
another
2.
journey with us,
Was he involved with Subnautica 1 at all?
we're kicking off the road to early access. now,
He
and
joined
we
the
want you to
studio,
be
I think,
part of it.
after
Just like with Subnautica,
Subnautica
and
1
Below
released.
Zero, we'll be inviting you on a
Oh, he probably
futuristic
worked on Below Zero?
underwater survival adventure.
Yeah, probably.
Set in an all-new
It's
mysterious
just funny.
alien
This
world.
dude was at 1UP back in the day, and now
The
he's
whole team
design
believes
lead
that
on
Subnautica 2 is shaping up to be our
Subnautica
biggest
2. How did
and
that
most
happen?
ambitious
I
Subnautica
guess
game
things
ever.
shit happens.
And we can't wait until you dive in.
I'm
We've
still
taken
really excited for
everything
this, but
Dude,
man,
I'm
the whole like
so
we're
hyped.
launching
from
early
previous
access is so
and we've
brutal.
ported it into Subnautica 2.
But they did that with the
Working
first one.
veterans of the Subnautica series.
Yeah, I know, but
we'll
I'm
also bring on
saying
some new faces.
what that just means
So
I'm
you
gonna
know
have to
you'll be
wait
in
another
advance.
2 years after
But
early
we're also
access
ready to shake
drops.
things up.
Oh, at least.
Kind of like
For
how
the
I'm waiting
first
for
time, you'll
Hades
have the
2,
chance
which
to
is still
experience
hurting my
Subnautica
soul.
2 with your friends in co-op.
Dude, I ran a
But
poll
whether
in the
you
Fantasy
choose to
Critic
play
Discord.
solo or with
I think
friends,
most people
we hope
believe
each
it is
descent into the
launching
depths is
1.0
more
this
thrilling
year.
than ever.
Damn.
That sounds awesome.
Wait,
to
which
you.
one?
Also
Join us
sweet.
for early access
Hades
later
2.
in 2025.
No.
So Ed's
You'll be
a
there
problem.
when we first add new
You know,
vehicles,
between
craftables,
like
biomes, and
the
Leviathan.
Switch 2 coming out this
And you'll
year
be able to tell
and
us exactly
like the
what
Game
you think
Awards
as we continue to develop the game alongside
connections
you.
between Hades
But to start our journey together, I
or
wanna
between
pose a question to you
Supergiant
all.
and the
What do you wanna see in
Keeleys,
Subnautica 2?
it makes sense, right?
Let us
Because
know
the
on our
original
official Discord
Hades
and
was
across
shadow
our
dropped at
social
the
channels.
Game
And
Awards
stay
back in
tuned
the
for
day.
more updates and behind-the-scenes content
So like I
as we
could
navigate into
totally
early
see them
access.
shadow dropping 1.0 in December, which is crazy.
They're self-publishing Hades 2, right?
I don't know. Yeah, probably.
But god damn it, when is Hollow Knight Silksong?
I mean, this year
If,
they said
if
they said it this
Silksong
year.
doesn't launch this year, I will not only lose, come in last place in Fantasy Critic, it will be the worst loss imaginable.
No. It's coming out. They literally said 2025.
Dude,
Look,
we
I'm
have
a
said that.
Silksong.
They've said
We
a lot
have
of things.
basically said that the past 2 years.
Yeah, everyone has said that for the past few years.
So why?
But
so
they
why,
have not said that for the past few years. You know, there was one
just
delay,
saying.
and now they say it's coming out.
I'm just saying, I'm very skeptical.
This is cute.
But like, that's the meme, right? The meme is like, it'll never come out. But again,
I don't think it's not. I don't think it's never going to come out. It just feels so. It does. It feels so like there's really no release in sight, even though we keep pretending like there is.
Why? Because of the meme. Like, if you truly believe Silksong is going to come out, there's no reason to believe that it wouldn't just be when they say it is, right?
Well, because I'm still very bitter about the fact that they told us that it was going to launch within a year, and that was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, but that was one time, and they explained it was delayed. So
Yeah, but
you know.
when do you, since like how often do you delay a game for 3 years after giving it like a release window?
These indie royalty devs, they can take however long they want. It's the same thing with Mino the Hollower, right? They just they
Let
can
'em
they can
cook.
afford to take as long as they want.
Yeah.
And,
I know.
It's,
That's what I'm
instead
saying.
of growing the studio and like bloating it just to get a game out the door.
No,
they just
I
take their
get
fucking
it.
time.
And
I
if
mean,
they
we're
need
getting
the
it
funds,
from
they'll
the
just
inside,
release a
yes.
remastered version.
Look,
We're not really talking
I-
about how
I-
sexy this game is.
This is
all
like-
I'm saying is
It's Donkey Kong Country Returns.
I was
mean,
gonna
Donkey
say
Kong
this is Donkey
Country-
Kong Country, but you're a duck and a bird and a
Yeah.
turtle.
No, this looks
that's
really
pretty
good.
cool. Can I just get my one thought out real quick about
Sure.
Hollow Knight? Is that all I'm saying is I think I'm regretting my choice to bid on it.
No. You're,
Or not
you're-
bid on
Don't
it.
regret it.
you're
Don't
wrong.
regret it.
That
That's
is
a
one of-
90 plus
one of the-
easy.
Yeah, it's one of the best
If
pickups
it's
you can
out,
make.
I don't think it. There's no guarantee that it's coming out this year, and I think
Yeah,
I was
there's
maybe
no
foolish.
guarantee anything's coming out.
I was
Don't-
maybe foolish to draft it.
No. It was still one of the top picks of this year. I have it in my Super League. You know, it's people are memeing. They worked themselves into a shoot, as they say, and people are counterpicking it like that's not the most moronic thing you can do. Like I said,
mean-
if you believe the game is ever coming out, then you're an idiot for counterpicking it.
All right,
I'm really surprised this game got a release date. I am.
The day
Wait,
after
why
my
is it
birthday.
Spirit seeking vengeance.
This
I
is
just
another
did-
thing. They've just said it was coming out this year, and like it's like no one believes anybody.
I
It's like,
don't.
This shit ain't Beyond Good and Evil 2.
To me, this felt like 2026 easy.
But
thought
games
Death
have
Strand-
to shit. I don't know.
I thought Death Stranding 2 was going to be their flagship title for the year, and that was going to be like the biggest release of the year for them.
But Sucker Punch
Nah.
has been working on this for a long time, and they said it was 2025.
Yeah, they did.
I just usually, when they say 2025, like a year without a month, I don't have a lot of faith.
Yeah,
that
but
they're
they
gonna
said it last year, not this year.
Yeah, they said it last year.
And like, you know, the truth is, and I think this is going to be the case for stuff like Silksong and not really related to Ghost, but like for high-profile indies like Silksong, like Mina the Hollower, like Slay the Spire 2, whatever, right? High-profile royalty indie games. A lot of them are probably waiting on what's going on with the Switch 2. Do they have their dev kits yet? Can they port it to like whatever Switch 2 is in time? And they're probably going to try to launch around when they can launch globally with also Switch 2. Because
they're also going to have kind of like publisher level concerns, like is Nintendo going to charge premium for an upgrade? Are they going to do things like that? Are they have to pay like 35% royalties?
What are you talking about?
I mean, we're seeing a ton of Switch 1 games having paid upgrades. Like,
yeah, but
what if there's a Nintendo tax they're just not talking about?
But the developers set the price of their Switch games.
Why do you always call me that?
I mean, yeah.
It means one.
Well, there's a price difference between Switch 1 and Switch 2.
But for an indie digital release,
they absolutely could do that, man. God, this looks so fucking good. Did we talk about how this game is non-linear?
I mean, the first game was non-linear. What are you talking about?
Well, no, it had a linear story progression, but like this, it doesn't have that.
I mean, Assassin's Creed Shadows does kind of the same thing.
I mean, I haven't played
Shadows. I'm just saying, like, it's not... I mean, you're right, it is cool, but, like, a lot of games are doing that. Like, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is, in a lot of ways, a non-linear narrative.
Oh, I want to play this so bad.
It looks cool.
Well, it comes out in October. All right,
it
are we ready?
logs the shit out of Assassin's Creed Shadows, am I right?
Are we ready to record?
One more. This is a Nick droid right here.
The crew will treat it similarly.
I don't believe you, because this is that supermassive game, right?
It's the next game in the Dark Pictures.
Yeah, I've only played one game in that Dark Pictures, and it bummed me out so much.
You've played more than just one.
If we fail, it's because
I have started two others and dropped both of them. I played Man of Medan, finished it, and was like, that kind of sucked. And then I tried to play the Silent Hill looking one.
You played the Quarry, didn't you? What's your problem?
Yeah,
man?
but
you were a supermassive stand.
No, but the Quarry isn't really a Dark Pictures game. Like, it's a much bigger. It's closer to. It's much closer to. Is it closer to The Quarry and Until Dawn than it is isn't it a Dark Pictures anthology game?
No. They've spun it up. They've spun it up into like a full game. I think originally it was going to be like a Dark Pictures game, but
it's them doing John Carpenter's The Thing in space.
I know, and that's cool. I just don't want another like 4-hour game that feels like a stunted Until Dawn like.
This will easily be at least 6 hours.
Okay, well, Until Dawn was like 13 or 14 hours.
That's 50% extra time. Like, come on.
You have no idea how long that game is. First off, Chris Davis. Stop.
It's called making a joke.
Hey, when are we gonna record?
What is wrong?
I mean, I can cut the trailers
well,
anytime.
I could tell you what's wrong. Well, I don't want to get into that on the feed.
Well, this is we're almost done here. There's one more trailer after this.
I have to get up an hour and a half earlier than I normally do, and tomorrow's going to be a very long day for me. So
I mean, I was up at 5 a.m. today, so I understand.
Well, congratulations, Chris Davis.
And then I had to drive an hour and a half into town, so...
I don't have a car right now. So I have to hitch a ride.
What happened to your car?
It's in the shop.
Oh. Some jackass issue or something?
I got up at 5:30 and...
Horse armor!
And I'm sick. Can you believe horse armor is the only thing they're charging for?
Y'all have said there's one more trailer, like, for the past 4 trailers. What is going on?
Literally only said it the last time.
It is $850.
This is match 3 against dinosaurs?
By Strange Scaffold. Another Strange Scaffold release.
What
It's
is
like
Strange
Puzzle Quest, but
Scaffold done again? I forget.
El Paso Elsewhere and
Fucking what?
I Am Your Beast. They do like 3 games a year.
Calm
Nick,
the fuck
all
down.
the Supermassive hate. How are you feeling about Little Nightmares 3? Are you gonna play that?
Yeah, I'm gonna play that.
That's a Supermassive joint.
I know. I'm not hating on Supermassive. I'm hating on Dark Pictures specifically.
I'll play.
I loved Until Dawn, and I thought they were going to be doing stuff that was all kind of on like the same tier as Until Dawn, and it's been
Creepy Redneck
not
Dinosaur
that
Mansion
at all.
3. Okay, I like that. That's fun.
Okay, now we can start.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me get set up. Stop sharing. Okay.
Testing 1, 2.
Do that. Oop. 1 sec.
Oh shit!
There we go. All right.
Got my cough drops.
Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3. That is a name. Okay. Oh, yeah. Were you going to see the movie, Nick?
All right.
What movie are you talking about?
The Until Dawn movie.
What about it?
Isn't it out?
Yeah, probably. It
You
didn't
go
get
see
very
it?
good reviews.
Really?
I mean, I might go see it because my wife really loves Until Dawn. But I don't know.
Nick, you also
What?
love Until Dawn. What is happening here? Did you hear that?
52% ain't terrible.
Rotten Tomatoes is refusing to work for ad blockers now. Dude, Thunderbolts is 88% certified fresh.
That is shocking. I could have sworn like early buzz from like early screenings of the Thunderbolts was that they were like, this is in trouble. This is not going to be very good. So to see it come out and have like an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes is kind of astounding.
Why did you think it wasn't going to be good?
Because there were like early screenings for the game, like, or for the movie like months ago, and like crowd reactions, if I remember correctly, people were saying this was not a very good, this was a mess.
I mean, it might have been like focus testing and an early cut. Like it may not, probably wasn't.
Sure,
very
but like that's probably true. But like you rarely, I feel like it's rare that you have an entire cut of a movie that can then be fixed by just recutting it. I mean, that sometimes, sure, but like if the content, I mean, they're right. The Snyder Cut is a really good example of when that did happen, because I hated the Justice League. And then I watched the Snyder Cut, and I was like, "This movie is actually kind of fucking awesome." Like, in a real like Zack Snyder's kind of dumb
Snyder Cut
way.
was 5% better.
I think it was. I think you're wrong. I mean, if you don't like the Justice League film,
God,
whatever.
Nick,
I
it's a
totally
Snyder,
get
bro.
it.
Oh God.
No, I'm not. I'm not a Zack Snyder bro. I'm really not.
You did the hashtag and everything. I bet you haven't have a Snyder Cut T-shirt in your closet.
I don't. But I watched the Snyder Cut and was like, this movie is at least twice as good as the original cut. And I hated the original cut, and I had a good ass time watching the Snyder Cut. I don't know, man. I mean, it still has all the problems that, like, if you take issue with like Zack Snyder's like vision of the DC universe, which I totally understand, those problems still exist. But like the really rough edges around it as like a film and a script and like the action sequences are like largely ironed out. It's recut in such a way that it feels like a completely different film. I'm just saying. I don't care for Zack Snyder films, but I had a good time watching the Snyder Cut.
I don't like that we have a clean recording of that line.
I like. Well, yeah, the new Batman has nothing to do with Zack Snyder, and the Batman is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves is a genius.
And the new Superman movie is looking to shape up pretty good. So
the new Superman is looking pretty cool. I think. I hope it. I
Hey,
hope it
Until
delivers.
Dawn's at 52%, and for like kind of a popcorny horror movie, I think that's perfectly fine. I'm sure you've seen lower scoring.
I have seen lower scoring horror films. I'm not arguing that. It's just like, is 52% enough to make me want to go spit? Because like when I go to the movie theater, it's usually like, it's not a cheap date. So it's like, do I want to go use that as to go see Until Dawn, or do I want to go see something else? Just saying. Just saying. All right, are we ready? I'm gonna hit record.
Wait, Lawrence Fishburne and Rami Malek are in a movie together?
Yes, and I went and saw that. Or Robin and I went and saw that. Yeah, we went and saw that 2 weeks ago.
What is like the combination of those two? Why is that throwing you off?
He's here.
Hello. Rami Malek and Lawrence Fishburne. Who would have imagined that combination of actors?
You doing all right, Crispy?
I lived, bitch. Yeah, fine.
I'm very glad you lived.
They gave me stuff. They said my face should be back to normal in a few weeks.
Do you want to leave your camera off?
No! Show the people! Ah! No, I just... So, like, they called it Bell's palsy. And, like, basically, like, if you hold your, like, okay, for instance, like, when I smile...
Oh.
Like, I can't do my right side.
He looks like look at DreamWorks pictures.
Yeah, I do in, like,
DreamWorks
slouch,
cartoon
right?
character now.
And try to hold your eyes closed as much as possible, right? Like, I can't open my left eye. I can open my right eye.
Whoa, that's crazy.
That's
actually
wild.
crazy.
Yeah, so, like, yeah, the right side of my face is a little goofy at the moment.
Well, I think I can speak for all of us when I say we're glad you're okay though.
Yeah.
Yep. No, they put me on some meds. They said it should be back to normal in a couple weeks, but
Awesome.
It was kind of scary.
Is it like a little numb sometimes?
It's not that.
It doesn't feel like you
it's
just
not
had like,
really.
the injections in your.
My tongue feels a little numb, maybe, but like my face doesn't. It's just the muscles, like that control the contract. It's like it's supposed to be an inflammation of the seventh cranial nerve, which is what controls your eyes and your mouth and stuff like that. But
Interesting.
yeah, I don't know.
Well,
It's weird. I just woke up today and was like, my face feels weird, and my mom freaked out and was like, "We're going to the hospital."
I mean, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah,
That's
but-
but like that was
If you've never taken an oral steroid, by the way, that is the worst taste I've ever experienced in my life.
Oh, I've never.
That was awful.
Mm.
Awful. What are we talking about? What's going on?
Oh, we just
Video
finished trailer
games.
talk, so we're just
Yeah.
we're getting ready to record. So
You just finished trailer talk?
yeah, because this fool up here just kept saying, "Oh, it's just one more trailer for like 5 trailers."
Literally always do trailer talk that long.
Jeez, take forever.
In
Also,
case you
we
missed
can't
it,
just
Crispy.
we can't just show up like 20 minutes late and decide to cut trailer talk in a third. You know, we got trailers to watch.
There were some cool trailers in there. You missed us watching the Doom Dark Ages trailer with Chris Davis looking away as if he's trying to like not spoil anything while walking us through like every detail of the game.
That is factually inaccurate.
He looked like
1000% true.
Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget, like with the chair turned around, like petting
Rest
a cat.
in peace, Uncle Phil.
What?
Yeah.
Apparently, he was Dr. Claw.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
That's sick. Yeah, he was also a Shredder.
Yeah.
What? That's crazy. All right. Well, gentlemen, I'm recording. I don't know about y'all,
I am recording on OBS and now Audacity. Wait, it's not. What's happening? Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Panic. Panic. Recording device.
I'm stopping my recording.
Let's try this again. Okay, much better.
By the way, Uncle Phil, right? That's what you said. He passed away a while ago, right? That's not a recent thing.
Oh yeah, like 10 years ago.
Okay. That's just that's almost like I swear to God, the other day Robin said something. We were talking about something, and she randomly said something about Steve Jobs when he was alive, and I was like, Steve Jobs died? When? That was how I found out. I did not know Steve Jobs died.
Like 15 years
That's
ago.
actually
20 years ago.
I know. This was like 2 weeks ago. That when I finally realized that Steve Jobs died. It was
That's actually absurd.
The Ashton Kutcher biopic came out like 3 years after he died.
I forgot that existed. I didn't even remember that existed.
What? Yeah. You didn't wonder, like, how come we haven't heard from Steve Jobs in a decade? What's he up to?
What's up with this Tim Apple guy?
Yeah, Tim Apples.
I mean, honestly, I hadn't given it much thought. So yeah. My apologies.
That's weird. That's the weirdest thing I've heard all day.
I am recording.
I mean, believe me, on the day that it happened, it was the weirdest thing that I experienced as well, because I was like, there is no excuse for me not realizing that. But hey, sometimes these things happen. All right, are we ready? Everybody recording?
Recording.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, roll call starts now. Brad. Who is sick? Crispy.
Hello.
Chris Davis.
Hello, I am also here.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode, well, according to the title, it's 831. Is it 831, Chris Davis, or did you goof?
It's supposed to be 832.
It is 832. It says 831. I'm just saying. Welcome to episode 832. It is April 29th, 2025. I'm your host, Nick Henderson. And of course, I'm joined by Brad Simons. Who you may notice sounds a little deeper than usual. He has a cold. Also joining us is Crispy. Hello, Crispy.
Hello.
How's it going?
Okay, my right eye doesn't close all the way.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird day.
Weird day.
Us here
the doctor said if it doesn't get, if I can't keep my eye closed while I'm sleeping, I'm gonna have to tape it shut. So.
Whoa.
I told Robin, she was like, "Oh my god, that sounds horrifying."
You already do the mouth tape, right? So you could just use some of your mouth tape.
Like the Sigma grind set mouth tape thing that they all do.
You should get an eye patch. This is your chance. Get an eye
I was
patch.
thinking about that. I was like, do I still have that fucking Majima eye patch?
You could rock an eye patch, I bet.
Yeah, of course you could. And of course, Chris Davis is also joining us. Hello, Chris Davis.
I'm also here. Good evening.
How do mustachioed men use the mouth tape?
Is that a real question? I don't.
Yeah.
I think they get rid of the mustachio. I don't think you can be Sigma and have a mustache.
Fair.
Hey, so we didn't record a show last week, right?
We did a trailer talk vibe night, I think.
Yeah.
That's right. We just did kind of a chill, vibing trailer talk night last week. So once again, it's been 2 weeks since our last recording. So thank you to everyone who's joining us live on twitch.tv/4Player Podcast on Tuesday night when we record these. And typically we do this weekly, but it's been kind of sporadic lately, so I do apologize about that. But a lot has happened. A lot has transpired since our last recording. Not only did Bethesda announce and shadow drop a remaster, quote unquote, of Elder Scrolls Oblivion, which I don't think we're going to talk about tonight, but I imagine we'll talk about eventually. It's a big deal one way or the other. I just wanted to make sure we mention it because it's a big deal.
I didn't
but
decide to play because I heard it was running like shit.
Really? I mean,
yeah, I heard it wasn't well optimized, so I was like, I'm not gonna bother.
Well,
it
like
was
all
running
Bethesda
okay
games,
on,
well optimized.
It was running okay on my PC, but it was the only game I've ever started on this computer that, like, when it booted up, my graphics card just like kicked into overdrive, like it was taking off, like.
Oh
well, it's,
boy,
it's
here we
also
go.
like 120 gigs, and I was like, "Fuck off."
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure we mentioned that. Well, I'm sure you'll hear us talk about it at some point on this podcast, but it may not be tonight. I do also want to mention, though, that maybe we can talk about it right now, just as a kicking off point here. But Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders happened last week, and it was chaos. But I think
it was.
Okay,
Everybody
so here's
got one though. They wanted one.
Everybody who wanted one got one. It sounds like, but I don't know.
Chris Davis got 2.
Chris Davis got 2. Crispy, did you get one?
This
Were you even
motherfucker
trying?
hates
I don't
Nintendo with a
have any
passion, and he got 2.
money. If Chris Davis will sell me one of his 2 for $200, then I'll have one, and that's the only scenario in which I'll have a Switch 2.
We can talk. We can talk.
Oh, look, good guy, Chris Davis, looking
This
out.
guy.
But yeah, it was chaotic. I did not.
People were scared.
I was very much like, because like the launch title, obviously the big launch title is Mario Kart World, which I am excited about, but like it's not Metroid, it's not Zelda. I mean, here's the thing: it's one of those things where it's like, if I was gonna get as a launch title, it sounds great. Like it sounds like a fun launch title. We don't always, like, console launches don't always hit with like a Super Mario or a Zelda. You know what I mean? It's like Mario Kart. Yeah, and it's like, as a Mario Kart game, it is maybe the most interesting looking Mario Kart game they've ever done. I don't think that's debatable, right? I mean, it's
the most fresh iteration since probably Double Dash.
Yeah, they could have made
any of them. I mean, it's been the same fucking formula the whole time.
It's like it's like if they launched it with a Pokemon game and suddenly they had like completely reinvented Pokemon after years and years, after we've been begging them for decades to like change up Pokemon. They did with Arceus.
Yeah.
Right.
And it did not go
well.
well.
If Arceus had been a launch title, it would have been huge, right?
Did go well. Arceus
it sold very well because it's a fucking Pokemon game, but it performed like shit.
No, people liked Arceus. What is all the... Y'all are all saying crazy
system performance-wise is what I mean. Not
Look,
sales-wise.
I'm
they
saying...
all run like shit.
All I'm saying is...
it's a handheld
if Arceus had been a launch title for a Nintendo platform, it would have been exciting. It would have been for, the reasons we just talked about.
They're literally coming out with a new one this year for the Switch 2.
That is true. That is true.
Pre-order night was rough. I was able to get one through Walmart because props to Walmart because they have like a queue system when it comes to this shit. So you log into the website, it'll put you in an automatic queue, and then you get 10 minutes to check out when it's returned.
I mean, it's sort of
until it kicks you from the website.
Target absolutely,
like, it was breaking for a lot of people.
Walmart, but it wasn't best. Target was shit in the bed across the board.
Well, Target doesn't do a queue system. I got one from Target like right away.
I had everything pulled up. I had Best Buy, Walmart, and Target. I didn't even bother with GameStop. And believe it or not, Target was the one I managed to actually score. I kept getting booted from Best Buy's queue. I kept getting booted from Walmart's queue. I don't know what the fuck was going on. And Target was a hot mess. I logged on 11 because that's when they were starting to go on sale, right? And I was very much kind of like, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think I'm going to get a pre-order tonight. It's probably going to be horse shit. And I was like, how bad do I even really want one at launch? I want one for Metroid, but like, who knows how difficult it's going to be to get after it actually launches. So like, maybe if I can snag one for a pre-order, that would just save me the headache.
So I was like, with the FOMO. They got you with the FOMO.
I'm in the same boat as Brad. I want to play Metroid, and I don't want to play it on a Switch 1. And it's not going to be long. So
okay, like, first of all, Donkey Kong looks sick as fuck.
It does look sick as shit. It does look sick as shit. But like, let's be real, guys. We all have our fucking eyeballs on Metroid here, anyways. Like,
I have them on DK.
I mean, I have it on DK too. I'll play DK.
Well, Metroid doesn't have a date yet.
I thought it was like July or something. Did I make? Am I
It's
making
like July 17th, I think it said.
No, Metroid doesn't have a date.
Oh,
there's
okay.
no date
Well,
Metroid.
Whatever. I was just like, I'm gonna try, and if I don't get one within like 20 minutes, I'll just I'll fuck off and go to bed. An hour and a half later, after like refreshing and getting 2 false positives. Like it said thank you for making your purchase, and then I got an email immediately that said we've canceled your pre-order from Target. I finally got one to stick, and I was like holding my breath for like 48 hours afterwards, waiting for another cancellation email, and it never came.
Yep.
So yeah, that was fun. I don't know how that like stacks up to like I can't even remember what like pre-order situations were, or like the for like the PS5 or whatever. It seemed
The PS5 was awful.
yeah, I seem to remember that being
PS5
kind of. I mean,
was like during COVID too. Like
yeah, and it's because everybody's in a like trying to like blow up the website because they're trying to beat like bots and shit from snatching them all up.
Yeah.
So and a lot of this stuff is like they have things in place to try to prevent bots from getting them, but that makes it harder for real people to get them too. So like it becomes this just like chaotic bullshit. But yeah, I think those of us here who wanted one, I think we got one. I think we're good. Between the 4 of us here, we have 4.
Yeah,
that's true.
Just two of them are in one person's possession at the moment.
There's a poll on Reset Era with like thousands of entries or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the poll was, where did you successfully pre-order the Nintendo Switch 2? And most of the choices are just the places, right? Best Buy, Target, Walmart, GameStop. And one of the options was didn't get one. And these are people who, and it's only 6%. So most people have been able to. Most people have been able to secure a Switch 2. People who
what? Maybe the most surprising thing was because we had a few people in our community who were like they were going to take their chances at GameStop, like at an actual physical location, the next morning, and it sounds like a lot of locations, anyways, were quite like maybe that was the way to go, like for the least amount of stress, because like I know. Well, I'm just saying, like. We had a few people in our Discord who were talking, like, we showed up, there was like 40 people in line, but they had like 80 Switches to pre-order.
But then you're waiting in line with 40 people, and nothing's more stressful than that.
But I still remember my days. But like when I worked at GameStop, I remember like when we were doing like, because I worked GameStop for the Wii launch, right? So like we knew our numbers, and when people showed up and got in line, we were handing out like receipts and stuff that had a number on it and said like you have your place in line. So if you have this card or this receipt, you've got one. So at some point, even if I mean, I know
there's to do your pre-order and then it comes out and going to get your Switch in line with people. That's the tragic part of going to GameStop is having to experience GameStop.
That is true. Yeah, you can't deny that. But like, I was just really surprised to hear that like a lot of people who decided to show up at a GameStop, those people had maybe less of a stressful time than I did, with 3 tabs open and 3 different retailers and multiple false positives and the funny thing is I gave up at some point. At like 12:30, I was like, I'm giving up. Fuck this shit. Because I meant to go to bed like an hour ago. And I went and I got in bed and I pulled out my phone and I was like, I'm going to try one more time from my phone. And I pulled up Target and I was able to add one to my cart. And then within like 2 minutes, it went through because I saw that, I think it was Wario 64, or maybe it was, maybe someone else. I don't remember. But like, they were like, Target seems to be working now. Go, go, go. And I like clicked the link, hit it. And sure enough, it worked. It let me in and I secured one. And I was like, well, I certainly was not expecting that shit. But yeah, although there is talk now, I guess Nintendo is setting, and this is not a huge deal, but Nintendo is saying they don't know for sure if they can fill all the orders in the first week of launch that they got.
100%.
Yeah.
No, I think there were like some allocations of orders that were like launch week or launch month.
I mean, my order says first week of June or whatever that thing is, and that's fine. I don't really give a shit at this point. Like, whenever it comes, it comes. It's not going to be as painful like if there was a Zelda package with it, where I'm just going to be like frothing at the mouth, right? But we'll see what happens. Although I was really surprised.
Fuck Mario Kart is what we're saying. Or we want to play the instruction manual that they're charging $10 for.
Yeah, I am genuinely shocked that they didn't raise the price of the hardware.
Or games.
They raised the price of all the accessories.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
they
isn't a
did.
controller like $80 or something? Like,
85 now.
Well, I don't usually buy a lot of extra accessories at launch anyways, so I will. I'm luckily not going to have to deal with that much right out of the gate. But
your Switch One Pro controller works with the Switch 2.
That was a question I had. So you know that for sure?
Yes, Nintendo said so.
Fuck yes. Okay,
Well, that's
cool.
good.
Then I'm golden.
It doesn't
But
have your
it's not
camera
full
button,
functionality though.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
doesn't have a
give a shit about
camera button. Chris
give a shit
Davis
about
is
the
trying to
camera.
tell us that he
C
ordered
button.
3 of the $85 Pro controllers.
No, I haven't ordered one yet, but
Yet.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I mean there's things that are disabled that you can't do with
yeah.
this.
Trust me,
Switch
homie, I
controllers.
wasn't gonna be pressing that camera button anyway.
No, it's like you can't power on the system with the Switch 1 Pro controller. You can with the second
live.
Switch Pro 2.
This
Kinda bullshit.
motherfucker is trying to talk himself into a Switch 2 Pro controller. Switch 2 Pro controller does have paddles. If you want like a
that's
real
kinda
actual
cool.
reason.
I'm a professional gamer. Like I need my
What the
professional
fuck?
controller.
They're my
Speaking
paddles.
How
of
many-
professional gamers,
Yeah. Well, none of us here, I don't think.
no, definitely not. Definitely not. But we have been playing games that we can talk about on this very podcast. And I think we want to start tonight with a game that I think most of us here are playing. I don't know if Crispy's playing it. I haven't really caught up with what Crispy's been.
It is on Game Pass.
We are going to talk about Clair Obscur Expedition 33, the fucking Chris Davis miracle of 2025.
Not a miracle. Predestined.
No,
Literally,
Dude,
nobody on the planet expected this kind of result.
It
over
is.
What
performance.
is this game? Why is it getting such high scores?
Well, let me tell you,
Because
it's pretty
it's
good.
in-
Suck your
Well,
dick or something?
it's shocking. It is shocking, right? Because no
It is
one,
shocking.
because games don't, it's pretty rare any game scores that high, right? Much less a new game from a new studio that's
French,
basically.
no less.
It
I mean,
is, as of right now, it is the
it's pretty
highest rated
rare.
game of the year on OpenCritic.
I mean, it's
It's
pretty
insane.
right?
It's insane. It's insane.
It's good. We talk about it. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised about that it's really, really good. I'm not surprised that it scored what it did because people are graphics whores and they're nostalgia fucks. They're nostalgia babies, right? And that's what it's doing really well. It's reminding everyone of Final Fantasy like 10 and shit, and
Okay,
it's very,
look.
very pretty.
I
So,
do want to
I get
say,
it.
look, and you're making that you're gonna sit here, and I know you're gonna like jump on me about this, but like, let me tell you,
Jump on you.
I want to talk about it right now because it's on the screen and you just mentioned it. But like,
What?
what this game is doing with the overworld map is what I wish JRPGs would have kept doing after Final Fantasy IX. That they that largely just
I mean, a
stopped.
traditional world map.
It's a traditional overworld map where it's like a diorama and you're running around and
Yeah.
you can fight things on the map and then go into other locations. Like that was the era in which I was in love with Final Fantasy, and then it just kind of like I remember when I played Final Fantasy X and that was the first game in the series to like stop doing that.
Yeah.
And even though I love Final Fantasy X, I felt that piece was missing, and to see this game.
But that is
back
so
to the-
specifically just nostalgia, right?
Yes, it
because
is
it's
nostalgia.
not
It is
like
nostalgia.
it's not like the world map is like oh, this makes this game so much better, right? Or like more modern, right? It is
Well-
literally just a throwback style of doing RPGs. In reality, like the way video games should be is that the world map is just like the world is just enormous, right? And you have you have vehicles and stuff, but
remember when we were talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake before it actually happened, and like everyone was like, "How are they going to do that?" Because you can't make the world that big and that.
and they just
and
fake
then-
it. They fake it a bunch.
and they fake it a bunch. And I don't think it was necessary. I mean, luckily it turned out pretty well, I think. But like, I just think about it like I don't know why the assumption is you have to go that direction when you could have pulled something off like this. And I think a Final Fantasy remake that that handles the overworld map like this could have been just as fucking amazing and as trying to like make
Yes,
everything
but
like
it's still decidedly throwback, right? When you have games like
yes.
Tears of the Kingdom or Xenoblade X, right, which do a people-sized, open world
Right.
instead of just
There's
doing
always
this sort of
trade-offs though. There's always trade-offs. Almost always, right?
yes,
Like Xenoblade 2,
But I'm just saying, like this game is doing a lot of heavy lifting with nostalgia, but it's obviously doing a lot more than that. Like this game is definitely proving itself.
I'm going to be real here,
in ways I was not
gentlemen.
expecting.
I'm going to have to send out the email tomorrow because this is Game of the Year 2025. I'm sorry. I'm just putting it out there. All the other games coming out this year, I'm sorry. You had your chance. You were too late. Here it is.
A lot of them haven't had their chance, bro. It's fucking April.
You might be right. You're probably wrong because I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Blueprints might be better than this, but this is up there. I will say though, Chris Davis, this is you've played what, Lost Odyssey and now this. Like you might be right, but like you're not like the authority on like JRPGs or anything.
Oh, certainly, of course, yeah.
But like you're not. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just so declaratively saying.
I mean, I'm just stating facts here.
You haven't played Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta yet.
This is Game of the Year. This is Gameplay of the Year. This is Story of the Year. This is Music of the Year. Like, every checkbox you could have for this fucking game is Game of the Year for me. It is fucking incredible.
Like all this stuff you're about to say like might be true, but the thing about it that will actually win it a Game of the Year award is the narrative. It is that like people are blown away. They're surprised. The vibes around this thing are so positive and happy. It's selling well. It's blowing expectations out of the water. It's just like with like Astrobot last year. Like that's what's going to win it Game of the Year. It's that everyone.
I do agree. With that.
Caught off guard and everyone's happy and it's sales expectations, score expectations. It's shocking everybody, and that's what will win it a Game of the Year award, even if maybe it's not as good as Kingdom Come or Blueprints. But whatever.
So to that point, can I interject for a second because I do have a very unique perspective on this, right? Because literally this past weekend, I finished Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which, as you know, for past few weeks or months at this point, I have been kind of like expressing like my deep-rooted love for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I was like, it's going to be a really hard game to top my Game of the Year list. Like, it's going to be hard to beat for me this year.
I did say this will be the one to do it, if anything.
And I went I saw the reviews, and I was like, okay, that's cool, but like, I'm gonna roll right into this because it's on Game Pass, it's available to me. I'm gonna roll with it and see what happens. I was very skeptical.
What's this haircut you're using? You're such a little fuck boy.
But you're right, Chris. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say Chris Davis is right because you're right.
Chris Davis did not develop this game. He just bid on it in Fantasy Critic, probably a little earlier than most people would, and it just a broken clock.
Listen, bitch. I'm just saying you're right. It is a broken clock situation. I'm just saying, like the statements that he just made. I went into it saying I'm very skeptical that something is ever going to top Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and I still think it's possible that it doesn't. But damn, I'm already a little like. It could. It could. Like, it's won me over that quickly, and the narrative like framing, the kind of like the mystery of it all at the very beginning, and like trying to kind of how it kind of like feeds you these things, and you kind of have to like figure out the context clues to kind of figure out what's happening in this world and what the story is, and then when you start to like pick up on that, like. By the time you get to that point, you're like, okay, I'm invested in these characters. I'm invested in this mission. I'm in this expedition. I'm invested
in what's going on. If you are not invested at the end of the prologue, you are a soulless monster that needs to be put on a watch list.
All right, calm down, killer. Calm down, killer.
Yeah, relax.
It is a very good game. It is a very good narrative. It's a very powerful narrative. The acting, the writing, stellar.
How far are y'all though? Because it's getting a little anime. It's getting a little like.
I'm about 5 or 6 hours.
Like they need to ease up a little. It gets out there pretty quick.
I mean, okay. I just finished Act 1 myself. I'm holding off until I have a lot of time to play it. But oh my fucking
I guess
God.
I'm more referring to the end of Act 1. Like it starts. I'm not saying it's like.
I haven't gotten that far, so be careful.
Fucking emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, but it's like in a way that like it's getting like so anime that all of a sudden it's like reducing the stakes a little bit, even though you don't know what I'm talking about. We can't talk about it. We can't talk about it. But it's like
I
the
will
more
say-
out there like a story gets, the more like the less concerned you are about like the welfare of people, because obviously anything can happen in the world. It's all weird and wacky and timey-wimey, and all of a sudden, who knows what can happen. Does that make sense? Like it's not it's getting, this was never a grounded story, but the less grounded it becomes, the more you're
I have a feeling there'll be a little bit of like a rubber band effect where like you start to kind of like feel the stakes kind of ease up because of that, and then by the end of it, it'll rein it back in. I mean, I'm just speculating here. I have a feeling it'll rein it back in enough.
I think that they do just amount of like variety in the narrative to like give you levity when you need it, and then they rubber band you back to like the grim reality of what's going on at the appropriate moments. I think they're giving you a lot of character development, which you appreciate the characters and you get invested in the mystery of their backgrounds and like what's really going on here. I feel like there's like probably 15 or 20 layers to this story that
That's what he's talking about, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's getting a little Xenoblade.
I don't think it's necessarily detrimental to the overall quality.
No, and like it is fun. So like, here's the talk about that. Like some of the talk surrounding this game is like, see, this is what we really want, you know? It's like finally a JRPG without the anime aesthetic. But like this game is still like an homage to classic JRPGs, and maybe it's like more French, but it's still like an anime as fuck. Like the outfits are anime, and the weapons are anime, and the premise and the story is anime. Like,
I mean,
it's
what's
just
literally
French.
one of the tougher types of enemies you fight is a mime. So
yes,
yeah, it's very French.
They play into it.
I got you. You kill the mimes and get their outfits, and now I have a character running around with like a baguette as a weapon or whatever on their back. And
but it's
let me tell you,
fun.
like wearing the silly outfits, and then all of a sudden you go into like this very like melodramatic story moment or whatever. It gets pretty goofy.
I mean, there's a level of
There's
self-conscious
somebody-
that the developers are trying to explicitly say. When you start the game, it gives you the option settings, and one of them is to turn on custom costumes for each character in cinematics. And the caption says, not realistic, but fun.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wait, by default it's on though, because
It's
people
by default it's on.
in Discord today, people were talking about like, oh, I think like the subtlety of like the facial capture and stuff is like top tier, like best in class. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. I don't know, because like in the most like emotional scene with one of my characters, like a subtle like moment between like two homies, she was wearing like a beret, sunglasses, and mime makeup, and I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm seeing all the subtle facial emotions here.
I'm
But
tempted
this
to
looks
turn it
pretty
off
sick.
because I'm tempted to turn that off just because I want to experience because like the fashion stuff is really cool.
It
But
gets
like,
wacky too, though.
but I
It
do
does.
want, but like I also
haircuts.
I don't want to be distracted in the cuts because the cutscenes and the story moments are really fucking good. Like holy shit, they're
Yeah,
really
but-
good. But also, can I just say
It's good.
to
Like, who are
that
you?
point, about it getting really anime, as someone who is famously very like constantly kind of teased for like not being into actual anime, I am really getting a lot out of this so far, and I don't know what that's. I don't know what you want to take from that necessarily, except to say
we
like
don't give a
there
shit.
is.
Just
I'm just
a
saying.
graphics whore.
No, god damn it! Stop throwing that fucking argument out
It's
because
true
that's
though.
not
Like,
what's
here's the
happening
thing.
here.
Here's the thing. You like your rebirth and you like your metaphor, but like the true problem with the anime aesthetic is more just that those games have shit budgets.
Dude,
until they
I'm not
don't.
talking about the way it looks. Can you stop talking about that? I'm talking about like the approach to narrative, the approach to dialogue. Like there are things about anime that I don't really latch onto the way other people do in those departments. And you're talking about this game being very anime in nature, and I'm not getting that vibe. Not yet, anyways. So that's all
how
I'm
far
trying
are
to
you?
say.
How
I'm
far
like
are
6
you?
hours, 6 hours or so, wherever that puts me.
but like you'll get to the end of Act 1 and you'll kind of see maybe what I'm getting at. Like the story's getting a little crazy, like Xenoblade or whatever, you know. And that's more what I'm referring to.
But like, I will say this as someone who has for a long, like, I consider Final Fantasy X to be one of my favorite. Like, it's one of my favorite games of all time. It's in there somewhere, and like early on, like this game, it's not. I mean, obviously, it's not the same thing. But like, if you think about like some of the stakes and the tension that was kind of present at the you know, when you're starting to get into the main story of Final Fantasy X, like I would say there's some connective tissue between these two games in terms of like
I don't see that. To
I mean,
me,
I'm talking about like there's this like world-ending threat basically, and people within the world go on these like and here they're referring to the expeditions, right? But in Final Fantasy X, they were like guiding a summoner across the world to try and stop sin from destroying the world, and it's been this kind of like endless cycle situation, and like there's kind of a very similar situation going on here. It's a lot weirder here, I would say, but you know, if you liked that kind of story, which I loved, like this is definitely tapping into some of the same vibes.
I think I see the overlap you're saying here. I think the difference really is that when you play Final Fantasy X, it's a character being inserted into a world that does not know the loop and narrative of this new experience for him. In this, all these characters have based their entire lives around the gourmage and the countdown from the paintress. Like, you are you're not learning with the character, you're learning based on the world of the character. You are
gleaning, you are piecing together the world and the situation within the world based on what these characters do and say, because you have to kind of glean all these, like, you have to take context clues from what's going on around you, and that's an interesting way to world build, I would say. Okay,
what's with the man bun though?
Why are you judging my hair? I only have one alternate haircut, and I gave it to him because
is this guy played by Charlie Cox? Did I hear that?
No, he is voiced by Charlie Cox, but this motherfucker looks exactly like Robert Pattinson, and it is freaking me out.
He kind of looks like Robert Pattinson.
It does.
I'm gonna be honest. It is one of those situations where almost every cutscene, I'm like, you can't tell me you didn't like bring Robert Pattinson into a studio and do mocap on that motherfucker, and then
it's legally distinct Robert Pattinson.
Are you ready for my controversial take that's getting me all the boos? Boo, boo, Brad, boo.
Wait, hang on. Let me okay, go ahead.
You ready? I know you're going to disagree with me, Nick, and probably Chris Davis.
You hate Charlie Cox.
Well, I just think, you know, what they went with the celeb casting, and I think it's giving a little Kiefer Sutherland. You know, I think somebody who's like trained voice actor could have done a much better job. Yeah, I think it's kind of just okay, and he's surrounded by people who are much better at doing that.
Weefy was pretty bad.
Kiefer was
he's very
terrible.
Understated, and he wasn't. I mean, y'all are a year from now, you're gonna look back and say, well, maybe if it was not Charlie Cox, it would have been a little bit. Look, when he delivers the line for those who come after, it should sound so much better than it does.
I like the delivery of that line.
I think it's not good. You can stand this game, but like it is like a 6 to 7 out of 10 at best, and it could have been a 10 out of 10 if they just had someone who's better at this shit. They went.
I'll be honest, I did not even know that Charlie Cox was associated with this project. So
yeah,
I don't
doesn't
care.
It kind of explain why Gustav is a little like when everybody else is like running circles around him?
I think he's a fucking great character.
True.
He's got emotional writing to him and a character depth that I love.
And the character,
it's so
sure.
good.
But I'm saying his performance is a little
Okay, that's fine. I don't want to argue with you about whether or not Charlie Cox.
He's like, for those who come after. Like, come on, man. That line should hit hard you should feel that line every time. And he coughs it out.
You know, they probably should have just brought Robert Pattinson in to do the voice because fuck. That's all
Maybe
I see.
they wanted Robert Pattinson, so they made the model, and they're like, "Please do our game," and they're like, "No." So, like Ben Starr, for example, plays a different character. Ben Starr is someone who could
Ben
have like
Starr's in this?
completely been up for that task because he's good at this shit, and we know because Ben Starr is good in everything that he's been in, right? Like when they do the celeb casting, and they don't do performance capture, they are just voicing over the characters that are. They did the performance capture with different actors. Maybe because they wanted to celeb cast this shit, but like, I don't know, man. Charlie Cox ain't, his heart's not in. Like, I'm watching all the behind the scenes docs and stuff, and it's Jennifer English and Ben Starr. And where the fuck is Charlie Cox? He's back in Hollywood sipping his fucking martinis because he don't give a shit about Expedition 33.
He's back in Hollywood working on Daredevil. Look,
exactly.
I completely refuse to agree with you on this, Brad.
Okay. You're refusing to agree with me. Actually,
the entire first 15 minutes of the expedition itself and what you do in that and what happens with that character, like, I understand why he's saying these fucking lines. He sent off on this mission in the last year of his life to sacrifice himself for the next to lay the past for the next generation. You're
explaining the plot, not the performance.
It's
a good character. It's a good
why
setup.
He's saying it that way. Like, he is a depressed character, so it's a depressed performance.
Depressed might be the word for it.
He's coming to terms with the fact that he's about to die and he's being sacrificed by his society, that he's not expected to survive.
Look, I tend to be more in Chris Davis's camp here because it hasn't really been a problem for me, but that's fine.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's just something I observed because, fucking Jennifer English, of course, is fucking killing it. And everybody else is just dancing around that motherfucker. Even this isn't a spoiler, but Andy Serkis is in the game, and he is, he's the king of performance acting, right? And he wasn't, I saw in a featurette that he was surprised that they didn't have him do performance capture, but he probably would have been too expensive, right? But even him, he's been around the block. He can still voice act.
If they had done
out of a role, but
if they had done performance capture,
a little muted and not in this fits the premise way.
Okay,
just
that's
in
fine. Your point is made. Your point is made. I don't entirely disagree. I don't entirely agree. But here's the thing.
It's not popular. I'm sorry.
If they had done motion capture with Andy Serkis, this would have been a full price game, right? They would have had to. This launched on Game Pass and it's $40, I believe, right? When you buy it outright on Steam. I could be wrong.
Okay, can I ask why even spend the money on Charlie Cox? I don't think Charlie Cox is putting butts in seats. You know what I'm saying?
Can we stop? Can we stop talking about
on?
We haven't said one thing about the combat in this game, which is
talking about the fucking incredible soundtrack.
Okay,
well there's not.
We not gonna sing the fucking songs.
The soundtrack's incredible. Done.
Yeah. It's good. The music is really good. It's a little near coded, especially early on, but it gets 100%. More variety happens as you go, and it's always pretty impressive.
Did you know that the CD release of the soundtrack, each disc is solely focused on one act, so you can switch out discs as you're progressing through the game to listen to completely fucking different music.
Did you buy the CD?
I'm about to.
This motherfucker's
just reading press releases. But look. He's right though. There is a lot more to this game. The combat is really fun. It's very Mario and Luigi, where you're dodging and parrying and you're doing things actively in combat constantly, and that stuff is really good. And it's fun. It's a fun deep combat system, and there's
and
enough
you have free aiming guns and.
The free aiming guns are cool, and and importantly, all the progression, backing it up, the character progression and the differences between the characters, all that's really deep and good. And there's a lot of meat on that bone if you're more like me and you want to spend a lot of time in menus tweaking that stuff, making god tier builds, and going into battle and really feeling it, right? That stuff has been really good, and that's the kind of stuff that surprises me, right? Because I always knew this game was going to be pretty because I saw the trailers, and I knew the music was going to be great because I listened to the trailers. But you don't really know, but is it actually going to be a deep game until you really start playing it? And I was surprised that there's a lot of stuff Like they kind of nail that stuff as well. And I think that's why people are kind of blown away by it, because no matter why you play like RPGs, all that stuff seems to be here. Like it feels like a complete package.
Like if this is one, like I'm like I said, I'm about 6 hours into it, and like so far it's giving me vibes of like, okay, this could very well be a contender for Game of the Year for me, because like it's kind of blowing any expectations I had, and pretty much all aspects of the game completely out of the water.
Like I'm finding new weapons that have like skills on them that completely like turns the way a character plays upside down. Like completely. They're like, I can make an entirely new build and approach combat from this character like completely differently because of this new like skill I have on this weapon, this passive on this weapon. And that shit is cool.
And the characters flow into each other so well. Like Nick, have you gotten Mael yet?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I love how each character is completely different from one another, and how they level up and how their skills progress and things like that. Even the fucking skill trees are interesting. But like my entire combat loop for Act 1 was all in service of using Mael as my tank and bruiser at the same time. Like I would use Gustav to fire off a few shots and mark enemies, and then put defenseless on them. Then I use Luna to light them on fire. And then it comes to Mael's turn, and I will have her do an attack that sends her into a virtuous stance. And in that stance, she does 200% damage. And then on her follow-up turn, I can have her stay in that stance and do a shit ton of damage, because I had this whole
a lot of damage.
loop. Yeah. No, well, I mean, she can, but again, I mean, that also ties into the flexibility. That also ties into the flexibility of the defensive capabilities of your characters. Like you have the dodge, you have the parry, and then you have the jump, and you have the combinations thereof based on how enemies attack you. So you have so much flexibility, and it's the challenge in this game, at least on the normal difficulty. It is challenging, but it's not frustrating. Like I probably died like 7 or 8 times against various bosses. At no point have I been like, okay, I gotta cool off and go do something else for a while.
I mean, I do
jumped
hope
right back in and was just enjoying it and figuring out the loop of the enemy, and just I love it so much.
I do want some pushback of it. Like I want the difficulty to ramp up slowly. I want to get to a point where I'm not necessarily like finishing boss fights every time on my first
part of
try.
that is that, you know, like you can stumble into areas or enemies or bosses that you're not ready for, and you know, and you could die like super quick. You know, like, you'll be getting one shot by like mini bosses and stuff. You'll be like, oh, I'm not ready for this, I'm going to come back. Or you could just really learn the parry and get through it that way. And and because parrying and dodging is like 100% damage mitigation, you know, with enough attempts, you know, you can get that timing down, and really scary enemies that will one-shot you all of a sudden become, you know, there's still that risk of things going really bad if you miss the timing on one of those, but it feels really good to pull it off. I mean, like the damage you do on a counter is huge, and you can even make builds that are designed around countering and whatnot.
I love that countering, like if you do it, like you can, if you parry successfully, typically speaking, you're blocking the attack. But if you parry, like, and sometimes enemies will have like one attack will have multiple hits. But if you successfully perfect parry all of those hits, or if it's just one hit, if you just parry the one lone attack or whatever, like it triggers the counter attack, which is like usually this like awesome, like very satisfying sudden.
It's cool, but like, can I say that the counter might be too powerful? I usually just dodge. It's like, man, I put effort into these builds. I want my damage to come from my hard work, not like the overpowered counters. Damn it.
That's where I'm saying, like, I'm hoping eventually they start to like layer more difficulty on top of it, so that the counter ceases to feel overpowered. I don't know if it's going to do that, but I would just say the general loop of combat is incredibly satisfying.
Well, it's going to get harder. Like the patterns and stuff are make it harder to counter, and usually bosses and whatnot do have more challenging patterns.
I will say that as far as the patterns go, there is that flexibility with enemies in how they can change things up a little. Because as you've noticed as you're playing it, like, you know how when an enemy's about to strike, there's like a kind of a slow build out and the camera pulls in or pulls out and you know exactly when to trigger your parry. In later encounters, they start to switch that up where maybe they'll strike a little bit faster or the camera won't pan in or out or things like that. Like
What does that mean?
it's
For me,
subtle.
it's been pretty consistent.
It's mostly consistent, but it starts to get a little
I think it's
subtly
depending on
more
enemy
subtly
types.
harder to do.
I think it's based on
There's
enemy
different
types as
of
they
enemy
introduce.
attacks, but
Mr. Papa Shot in chat says that he's in Act 3 and it does get very tough. So
yeah.
I'm not super concerned about it.
And there's difficulty options.
Yes.
But the general loop of combat is incredibly satisfying, and as long as they start to continue to kind of like layer difficulty on top of it and it doesn't get too easy, like this game's gonna be fucking amazing. Like I'm
One of the
so
other
excited
like
to get back
surprising
into it.
things is that the areas that you go into are like
Mhm.
they're huge and there's a lot of stuff to find in there.
The
Like
layered.
a lot of layered. There's a lot of the things you find in the world are like new weapons and new skills, like your little pictos or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
I will say the UI is a little funky and it takes a while to get used to.
Yes.
To me, it's giving like God of War Ragnarok or something where it's like, what is going on here? And you eventually get it down through just like muscle memory, but it doesn't feel like well organized, especially like the way honestly, but even trying to explain it is not worth it. Just know that at first I was like super confused and you just got to tank it. You just got to tank it for like a few hours and eventually it just becomes muscle memory and you get it down, but it's a little messy.
It's just different. It's inverted from what you think it should be. Like just even on a color perspective, it is because your selection color is black, but every other you would think that like that would be
The lighter color.
Yeah, it'd be the lighter color, but it's not.
It's just a little off. It's a little funky. Like their UI guy just wasn't as good as like all the other guys or gals.
It was probably designed with keyboard and mouse in hand first, and this was just secondary concern.
You think so? The other thing is like the areas are enormous, and I find myself getting turned around a lot, and there's no sort of indicator, there's no mini map, and I'm not usually the person who's saying like, give me some sort of arrow or whatever, but especially due to the nature of like backtracking, and there's only so many like fast travel points, and when you're in the middle of a huge dungeon or area, you can't just like teleport out of there. Like I'm someone who, as soon as they let me loose, I'm like, yo, I'm going to go back to that previous area and explore every inch of it. Cause there was some mini boss that I couldn't beat before.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, where the fuck is it? These levels are so fucking huge. You could spend hours walking around them, getting lost. And part of it is because you have no idea which way you're going. You really, it's weird though. Again, I'm not usually this person, but you can bring up a UI element that has like a compass or whatever. And I just wish like it pointed you in the direction of like a main objective, especially because when you're exploring, you kind of want to like do all the off beaten path stuff before you kind of do the main path stuff. Yeah. But when there's so many different paths, you don't know which one idea which way you're going. And then it's going to split here. And like, well, I'll go check down this way. And then it splits there. And like, oh shit, well, I guess I'm going to pick one of these. And I'm like, oh, well, now there's a cave and it splits again. And I think it just curved around to like one of those paths, but which path was that? Like it's all over the place.
They could
like, it gets intimidating. Like, I don't want to miss any like weapons or skills because some of that stuff can be really like build defining, but it's easy to get lost and not in like, I don't know. I'm just,
there's one thing they could easily incorporate that would make it so much easier to navigate is when you go to the flags and you enable fast travel, if instead of it just being the name of the location, like if there was like a picture reference for like where that is, so much easier to understand.
Yeah. Something or like have a little mini map at least that only pops up for the fast travel screen. Something. Give us something.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, the consensus so far seems to be that the game is like really, really, really shockingly impressive, but it's not perfect. It's got some.
I mean, those are just nitpicks. I mean, like this thing goes down smooth.
Yes, very smooth. I cannot wait to get back into the story. I was not. I was actually really sad when I finished Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and then I was like, I guess I'll start a different game. But like I need something like the story. I'm sad that that story's over because that story in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is so good. And then I jumped into this and I was like, okay, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
This is pretty good. Thank God.
Honestly,
thank God I didn't follow this up with some trash story.
The only complaint I have so far about this game is that it doesn't have HDR. And like the environments that you encounter in this game.
He calls me the graphics hoe.
Look, I'm just saying this game is so fucking okay. 2 complaints: that there's no HDR, there's no photo mode. That's egregious in this case. But the environmental design and just the amount of color and character to the world, it's so vibrant that the fact that HDR is not there, it doesn't kill it, but it hurts.
That definitely doesn't kill it. I don't have an HDR monitor, and it's still beautiful. Like, I don't know what to say. It's still beautiful.
Yeah.
100% is. Like, the art direction
it's just a really beautiful
insane
world
in this game.
Yes, it is.
My God.
It is. It's going. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be one of those games that sticks with you for a long time because of the world and the
visuals.
The visuals are elevated, but like the actual like thought that went into the world and kind of like the goal and how all those things kind of like mesh together, I think is just super well executed. And yeah,
I just don't understand the narrative. Like, I don't understand, why is this game like, or why can't more developers do this? Or like, they should just make more RPGs like this one. And I'm like, look, the reason y'all don't play Japanese RPGs is because they have tiny budgets and they look like shit, right? Except you play Persona and Final Fantasy because those do look pretty, as opposed to like a fucking East game or a Trails game. So like, it's not surprising that another really pretty one and polished one that came around is like becoming really popular. Like, none of this is shocking.
But it's also like, I don't think all
pretty and big budget and polished. Yes,
but not all JRPGs are created equally. Like part of what hooked me, while this is a very beautiful game, like what hooked me on the game is everything to do with the writing and the story. And like, I've played a lot, I've picked up and started playing a lot of JRPGs, some of which were really beautiful, that lost me because the story just didn't connect. But this connects.
What I'm saying is like, you know what has a really good story, like Trails in the Sky, but it doesn't look like this.
I don't.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't look like this, and that's why it doesn't sell 1 million copies in a day. It's even like that in the indie space, right? Like Sea of Stars blows up because it's gorgeous.
But I don't think the fact that this is gorgeous is like the only reason this thing is doing really well. I think
reason, but I'm saying it's a key part of the reason something like this blows up, because it's big budget and beautiful.
Sure, but there's lots of big budget, beautiful games that have terrible stories and forgettable characters that just fizzle out.
Metaphor and Rebirth. I mean, it's just...
Okay. What the fuck are you talking about? Metaphor has fantastic characters and a really cool story. Go to hell.
But I'm saying my point is, y'all don't fucking know because you're not playing the ones that don't look gorgeous,
bro.
No, not just y'all, but I'm saying like this ain't like, people are like, I can't figure it out. What's going on with this one? And I'm like, you know what's going on. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about all of y'all. The formula ain't complicated, okay? The pretty game was successful.
Okay, we're gonna go back and forth here because I get okay. Let's move on.
Name a JRPG that you think sucks that's gorgeous.
Tales of Arise.
Tales of Arise was insanely successful.
You asked me for a game that I thought sucked that was beautiful.
Oh wait, you think Tales of Arise like? Well, I guess the consensus is not that it sucks, but. I mean, it's the best reviewed Tales game and the best selling Tales game. Because
you asked a question and I answered it. You asked the question, I answered it. You asked me to name a pretty game that I thought was bad. We are moving on, goddammit.
I was asking the people. But what I'm saying is like,
this is a podcast. The people can't answer you.
But you see what I'm saying, right?
Sure,
Tales of Arise the pretty one, is the one that sold really well and scored really well, or the it's all just silly.
I'm gonna start beating my head against my desk. Let's move on.
I'm with you, right? I think Tales of Arise is like a lower tier Tales game, but it still sold better and scored better than all the others. Think about that.
Sure, but okay. Let's move on. We're gonna take a break. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, you always act surprised that video games are like a visual medium. Like,
I don't.
That is a little. He's got a point, dude.
I just want people to admit to themselves
that.
But like, what do you get out of that? Like, do you get some kind of satisfaction? Do you think you're better than us because we like games that are pretty? Like that's what it sounds like. That's what it comes across as.
Yeah, but look, I'm there with you. I'm there with you though.
I feel like you pivot. You go back and forth. Like
like it's okay to be a graphics whore as long as you're not always a graphics whore.
Do you think I'm always a graphics whore?
I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm saying, and maybe I'm talking about you specifically. I'm saying like you gotta sometimes be nice to the ugly game. It's okay to really like a game because it's pretty. I'm there with you. Like no one wants to fucking say that one of the reasons this Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is so amazing is because it's gorgeous to look at. Everyone's saying it. Everyone's saying that it's gorgeous, but no one wants to admit that that's the reason it's awesome. And it is a big reason it's awesome is that it's pretty.
I admit it. It's gorgeous.
No. Everyone admits that it's gorgeous. No one wants to admit.
God. No, I hate you so much.
Listen to the words that I said, because I just said them before you said what you said. Everyone believes that it's gorgeous.
This game is great because it's gorgeous.
Yes, there you go.
And
so if this game was uglier,
do the hands, but no one wants to say the line. No one wants to say what he said, and it's a big reason this game is awesome is that it's pretty.
Sure.
Say it. It's true. It's fucking true, and no one wants to say it. And that's why I'm always poking those fucking buttons, because it's not that I think I'm better than y'all. It's that y'all are like that, but don't want to admit it. I'm like that too.
But you say that because the implication is that you're not like that.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
And shut the fuck up. We're moving on.
Just be honest.
I'm Brad. I'm always honest with you. Okay. Yeah. Even
you gotta be honest with yourself before you can be honest.
Even when it's not in my best interest. All right, guys, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist, and I want to deliver some final thoughts on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 because I finished that game and some people were asking me about it, so I want to talk about that for a second. And of course, we will wrap up with the 4-player minute. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Here's an idea I'd just like to throw out. Instead of talking about those, let's just talk about Expedition 33 more.
What is the podcast number?
832. I'm gonna go find a game that I've played in the past 5 or 6 years that I loved that I would consider ugly.
Okay. Yeah, I did phrase my question wrong. It wasn't. Let's
see.
Nick, I don't think your
Number Factory.
Okay, I admit I will not play something as blatantly ugly as Nubby's Number Factory.
But it's not. That's an art style.
It's an ugly art.
It's an ugly art style.
But it's like intentional.
It hurts the eyes.
It hurts intentional.
1,000%.
It is intentional. It is a good game.
Aesthetic.
I never said it wasn't intentional.
But like, what about like
some
would
say that like some say
Squad?
that pixel art is ugly, right? But like it is evoking something that is very like appealing and nostalgic to a certain age of person, I think, right? But like to some people, pixel art is just ugly, you know. But it's just evoking a specific aesthetic. I think Nubby's Number Factory is, you know, channeling GeoCities era animated GIFs or whatever, and that is appealing in its own way.
Nick, I haven't been able to find your new Kingdom Come footage.
Do a hard refresh.
Footage?
It's in there. It should be in there. If not, just play what you got. I don't.
What's the? Well, I mean, I don't even set it up right now. What is? Did you? Are you sure you? Oh wait. Okay, so it's not showing up in my feed, but I can see it in the activity thing. The fuck? Oh,
See?
I was sorting it by day modified, and you recorded this like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay. All right, it's downloading now.
Look, I'm a graphics whore too. I just don't. You gotta you gotta be self. You can't be in denial about it, and two, you gotta like every now and then.
I'm not in denial about it, except for
nice
when
to
you
the
except
other
when you try to say it, and it's almost like you're undercutting my opinion because it almost sounds like you're writing me off as a graphics whore, and like that's when I get
No,
that's when
I'm
I
just
get
poking you because people, no one wants to no one wants to say the line. No one wants to say the line. A big reason I love this game A big reason I love this game is because it's so pretty. No one ever wants to say that line. Almost like it's a bad line.
maybe they don't want to say it around you.
No, it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with people thinks that makes them less of a true gamer. But like Crispy said, it's a visual fucking medium. Like this stupid fucking game Carlos is playing with the hands, right? Like that is a visual thing that he bought because of the visuals. He won't want to admit it. He's like, "Oh no, this is fucking, it's cool or interesting gameplay or whatever the fuck." You know?
I know.
No, it's because of the cool visuals. I mean, look, I've been showing trailers to these people for a decade and a half, and I see the ones that they pop for, and you learn about the hearts of gamers real quick, right? Because you want them to maybe pop for the ugly game, but they're just not. They're only popping for the pretty games, and it hurts your heart a little bit, and it kind of beats you down year after year after year.
I mean, but like if I'm gonna spend 20 to 40 hours staring at something, I kind of like it to look nice.
Dude, but again, that's not the thing you're saying week in and week out. That's the kind of honesty I want to hear from gamers.
But I don't think it's that important. I don't think it's that important.
It is though. It is though. You just said it yourself that it's important. Like, no, I mean, it's important enough to like make a decision for you on what game you're going to play, right?
It's only important if the implication is that my opinion matters less because that's an opinion that I hold.
No, that part is you're getting a little too neurotic. What I'm saying is, if it's important enough to like make a I'm going to play this game versus not play this game.
I mean, like I admit, I would never play Nubby's number game or whatever the fuck.
But that's also just not a genre you play.
It makes my eyes bleed. Like I can't do it. It's probably the same reason why I never touched Vampire Survivor. Like it's my fucking eyes bleed when I look at it, and I don't find that pleasant. So I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm not saying it's not worthy of praise. It's just not something my eyeballs can handle.
It's just something I noticed is all that and again, not about you, but it's like this with indies too. Like people act like I play a lot of indies. I'm not some AAA graphics whore, but then they're just as big of a graphics whore when it comes to indie games. So like I'll play Sea of Stars, but there's no way I'm playing fucking Horizon's Gate or whatever. And then I'm like, well then you're like, fuck you, dude. And don't say you're doing it for the gameplay, you asshole, because you made that choice based on visuals. You can downplay the importance, but if that's what you're making choices based on, then you're lying to yourself. I don't know. I do that too. I do it too, I promise you. I'd have to really hear like someone vouch for a game just at a glance. Like when I'm clicking through trailers and I'm adding trailers to playlists and stuff, oftentimes the ones that look like ass, it's like, well, maybe I'm not going to put that shit in trailer talk because maybe it's going to be whack. I don't know. Sometimes a nice visual style is suggestive of maybe a game that someone cares a little bit more about in terms of everything else, but definitely not always. Definitely not always.
I will be right back.
And people are like, "Oh, it's about the art style." It's like, fuck you, dude. Fuck off. If that art style was, janky pixels, like you're just like, shut up.
I mean, as far as Expedition 33 goes, like the character, design is secondary concern to me. The environmental design and just what they've done there with the art is just fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's
we didn't even
ridiculous.
we very briefly talked about the soundtrack.
That fucking
we did not talk
underwater
about
area,
the sound design.
That underwater area is crazy.
It is.
It's crazy. Like it's insane to look at. Like it has no reason to look as good as it does.
Oh, but the sound design is just incredible.
The thing is, World Teller, I'm not even talking about intentionally ugly games like Nubby or whatever. There are some games that, like fucking games that y'all have railed me about, like Symphony of War or whatever, where you're, or like Fail Seal, whereas like people, all they want to do is meme about the visuals, and I'm like, what are you doing? But I'm there too, just to, maybe in different ways sometimes. I was mad when Fire Emblem went to 3D and it looked like shit at first, and I was like, oh, but all the sick ass pixel art, it just doesn't. I'm not as, when a character crits, I'm not losing my mind like I used to because the visual ain't as good. Matters. It matters. Let's be honest. It's not just about the characters and the story and the gameplay and it's not. It's not, because if this game looked like shit, it wouldn't be successful. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, there's a measure of truth in there, Bug Noise.
Why can you say that to him but not me, Chris Davis?
Because I'm so tired of arguing with you after 15 years.
You're just proving that you're just.
If I argue with Bog Noise, I don't know what he looks like, and I can argue with and be a chat bully to somebody who's typing in text.
Dude, there's a funny ass Northern Lion video, or it's probably a librarian video, but where chat goes on strike and they stop chatting. They're just putting dots in chat, and his reaction is so funny, dude.
What was this?
A Northern Lion video, like like it just came out like today, or a Librarian of Laterno video or whatever, where chat goes on strike.
I don't know who you're talking about.
They're refusing to chat. You don't know who Northern Lion is?
No.
Whatever, dude. That's a you problem. Yeah, they're just.
And here it goes.
Just one strike. And they're like, "Well, you don't think I can do this without y'all?" He's like, oh man.
CV, you ruined it.
It's funny, dude. It's just funny.
Can we dots in the chat?
But you see how they all immediately knew what I was talking about because they knew who I'm talking about. You're the weird one for not knowing Northern.
Zipped in.
Let's don't bring this up and just let chat keep doing this until Nick notices. I bet he doesn't know about this either.
Wait, you don't know who Northern Lion is?
No,
that's weird. He knows so much about all kinds of weird video game things, but not.
I know a lot about a lot of different things, but I don't know a lot about a lot of everything.
I guess he does play the kinds of games that don't usually appeal to you, but
didn't he like his first big thing? I mean, he used to play like
with Isaac.
Dark Souls and Isaac and Rogue Legacy and shit like that.
Yeah, Isaac
No.
is the thing that put him on the
I
map.
just Googled him. I've never seen this man before in my life.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
It's
Well,
just
get
that
used to
truth.
that face. It's gonna be the last face you see.
I'm not judging it. I'm sure he's a pretty good entertainer.
What are we talking about?
He's just saying some weird things.
Like
Chat
what?
went on strike. Chat
I'm
went on
just-
strike. We're not valuing them enough. It's just a good
Why do I see all these ellipses in here? What's going on?
chat went on strike.
Yeah.
We
Don't
don't
cross
appreciate
the
them
picket
enough. So
line.
they're not giving us any material to react to.
Fucking Union bus, like fucking beat up Tarkus. He's crossing the picket line.
Yeah.
That's exactly what was happening.
All right, y'all ready?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah,
Let me
one
make
sec.
sure I actually exported this. Yeah.
I just want to make certain too.
All right, I am recording.
Cool.
Okay.
That is weird. That I mean, I know you've seen him before because I think he won a trending gamer once at the Game Awards.
Really?
So that
You've seen the meme of him going, okay, let's kill him. Let's kill this guy with hammers. Like,
I don't
There's
know
so
what you're
many
talking
memes.
about.
so many
really?
memes. I don't believe him.
Let's beat
Who
him
is
to
this?
death with hammers.
Well, so Nick is
Some-
someone who maybe I would believe might not know who Northern Lion is, but
It's not.
Oh, yeah, I don't.
it is weird that Chris Davis doesn't know.
When he
Whenever
was
they do the
doing,
Trending Gamer Awards, I just tune out and don't listen to it.
Damn.
Like Starvaders is a game that just came out. By the way, fuck you, Crispy.
Yeah,
It's at 87 on OpenCritic.
baby.
Let's
This
save
was
it for
my-
the show. Save it for the show.
We'll save it for the show. We'll save it for the show. But like
All
I will
right.
say, on the Steam page has like a few quotes as like marketing, and one of them is from Local Funk, giving like the thumbs up to the game, and another one is from Northern Lions saying this is the real deal. So he's big enough to like sell copies of a game by just having a quote about it.
All right.
I'm recording.
Roll call starts now. Brad,
Yes.
Crispy,
Hello.
Chris Davis.
Don't start directly with Kingdom Come because it needs to set the scene.
Okay.
I don't want to hear it, Tarkus.
All right.
It is already 10:12. We need
You
to
don't
get
want to
rolling.
hear the truth.
Yep, we're moving on. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Brad, we're going to go ahead and pass it over to you so you can
Whoa.
talk about a game that you've been putting off for weeks.
Well, I haven't been putting off the game. I just
Well, I know, talking about the game.
because this is the kind of game that just gets bumped from the podcast by Nick at the last second, saying we don't have time to talk
off.
about your little indie bullshit.
Apologies.
No,
to Matt Damon.
it's just our
That's good. That's
podcasts
good, Crispy.
are long, right? So, and I've been chipping away at this game since January when it came out, and because of that, it's not like a game I was like, well, I could just finish the game and then talk about it. But even then, I haven't finished it yet. But I've been playing Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist, which is the sequel to Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Night. And another reason I've not been like champing at the bit to talk about it is because it is like a lot like the first game in some ways. We got footage of this?
Yeah, I'm playing it.
I'm just behind on my stream. But it is. Let me tell you. So, are you all familiar with Ender Lilies? This is a game
I
that
actually
came-
tried Ender
remember the
Lilies.
name.
I don't know. I
Years
didn't
ago.
make it very far, and I don't remember how much we actually talked about it on the podcast itself.
Well,
but
we
I'm sure
talked
you
about it 'cause
played it.
I 100% of that game,
Okay.
and I liked it quite a bit. I don't know if it made my top 10 list that year, but it is a game I liked quite a bit. It is a Souls-like Metroidvania, one of those. It's a Hollow Knight-like. It's a
Mm.
Hollow Knight-like, and this is the follow-up to that Hollow Knight-like. But that's the thing. That's the reason I haven't been like, I got to get this on the podcast is because like if you've played Ender Lilies, you kind of know what this is. If you've played Hollow Knight, you know what this is.
But Hollow Knight's like prestige. Are these like on
this
the same
doesn't.
level?
but like, what does have the prestige of like Hollow Knight? No, it's not on the same level as
much.
Hollow Knight, but like literally what does, right? Now, as far as like, if you're like, you know, gonna say something that's not absurd, like, is this as good as Hollow Knight? Yeah, it is a tier down like everything else, but it is like a really good one of these. Like, it's a really well made, you know, side scrolling Souls like Metroidvania. I think what stands out about it is, you know, they're very nice looking games and they have gorgeous soundtracks that are like honestly probably like too beautiful for the type of game that it is. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like it almost seems too extra for a game that looks like this. Not to say that like it's an ugly game or anything, you know, it has a nice polished, you know, art style. I don't know how to say it, but they made another one of these, and a lot of what people are saying is like, oh, it's like the first one, but like everything is better, and it does feel like a much more like polished take on that, but it's still largely, you know, a Metroidvania with a lot of like difficult boss fights. Like, it could be a very challenging game, but not like the bosses are definitely like, oh, it's gonna take me like half a dozen to a dozen tries to get this boss fight down, but maybe not even that much, right? Like it feels fair. Like, it always feels like you're getting close, you just get clipped one too many times, and it's like, fuck, right? And the moment to moment as you're exploring the world is definitely the kind of thing where like it's hard because the game punishes you because it's using like an Estus flask style healing system, right? And enemies, they do a lot of damage. So if you're playing sloppy, you're gonna, in the end, the game's gonna get you, right? It's gonna wear you down. You're gonna be out of healing items, and you're gonna take a hit, and you're gonna die, and you're like, fuck. So like it can be pretty like challenging that way. But you know, there's a lot of like nice quality of life in there too to make it a little smoother. Like, you can literally fast travel to any save point at any time you want by going to the map, which is nice. Usually in this type of game, you don't really get that sort of freedom. You know, you're like backtracking or whatever to kind of get to a certain place. And when you die, you're not really losing, you know, you have to fight your way back to where you were, but it's not like you're doing a corpse run. It's not like you lost materials or experience or anything. Like, the map is still uncovered. So like, you'll eventually get through it by chipping away at it, but you got to play clean. This goes for the boss fights. This goes for like exploration and stuff. And like, the combat's really good. Like it's one of the things that I think stood out about the first one, and it stands out here. It's like, sometimes in these games, it's like, there's certain aspects of it that are like, okay, well, like in like the first Ori, for example, it's like, oh, it's beautiful and I really love the platforming, but like the combat is just kind of like, right? This game feels like it's not like S tier in any one thing, but it's like A tier in everything. And I think that's what makes like these Ender games, the Ender series, like pretty good. Like, it's a nice, like comfy, game to like, if you have a Steam Deck or a Switch, this is like the perfect kind of game just
Tell
to
me
chip
about
away
the
at.
wolf. You appear to be riding a wolf.
Wolf and
Well, it's just like it's just like a navigational like upgrade you get at some point. Like, it gets you around a little quicker. It can break through certain barriers. It can actually like run through like weaker enemies. Like, you
And
get
it
a lot
looks
of
cool.
like really good upgrades. The game is a lot like the first game, like where a lot of the drive to explore the whole world is that you clear rooms kind of like you do on a Resident Evil style map, where like the room changes color when you've got everything in it, which is like just a really classic, powerful motivation for finding everything in an area, right? Is, oh, the map changes color and now I don't have to worry about it anymore. And that still feels good when that happens here, of course, because it always does, classic Resident Evil style. But yeah, it's just a really well done one of these, and like you get good parries, and I will say a lot of the like the progression systems is a little bit different in the first one. In the first one, it was kind of like you know, like the Igavanias, where all your abilities are like kind of like the souls of enemies, right? And like you find like little mini mid boss versions of like like kind of the main set of enemies, and like once you defeat them, you like get their soul kind of, and that's like your ability. And the first one was very like centered around like those builds by like equipping this soul, this soul, this soul, and this soul, and that's kind of like your build. But each of those kind of had ammos depending on like how powerful they were or like the mechanic behind them, and you can like increase level that up and increase the amount you could carry. And that style of progression felt really good because you felt not only did you have a lot of freedom in the way you like built out your character, but as you start to get more of those, each of those things, like that sort of progression was just very rewarding. Here, you're unlocking like different variations of your core set of abilities by taking out certain bosses, and it's just a little bit different. No longer is it like an ammunition sort of thing. Like everything is either just like you have like a summon bird that can do a variety of different types of attacks, and you're more just kind of swapping them out depending on the situation, usually in boss fights, right? Where well, this boss,
How many are there? Like, are there
loadout would be
lots
really
to choose
good.
from?
Well, so like there's like for each different type of attack, like you have a swipe, you have like a summon, you have a like a gun type of ability, you have a like there's probably like a dozen different types of attack, and each one of those has like 3 different variations, and then you can level up those individually. Then kind of creating your build at any time you want at a save point is usually what you're doing before like a boss fight. Like if like there's a tricky boss fight, like, oh, let me swap
Right.
my stuff around and see if like this type of loadout is really good at like breaking the enemy. That gives me openings, right? Like instead of doing raw damage, it does like break damage that depletes that secondary meter that'll stun the enemy, so I can just kind of wail on them. Like I can use the slower hammer because this boss ain't that fast, and it would be perfect for this. So like you're kind of tweaking it more for that versus like exploration. But like some of those abilities are cool. Like you get a lot of different equipment. And this is the stuff that I kind of wasn't expecting. Like they're introducing new skills through like equipment and stuff. And it's the same kind of stuff that was in the first game, just the way they lay it out and dish it out to the player is different. And that stuff's neat. Like I'm getting an amulet. Like I got an amulet that lets me parry projectiles at any time I want. I just press the right trigger, and I kind of parry that projectile, which not only like absorbs the projectile, but I do like an attack, like a big attack in retaliation. And you see me do it a few times here where I'll parry a projectile and it'll send like bullets back at the enemy, like seeking style. And it's not that powerful, but like I can swap out that amulet, and then it becomes like a big burst around me that does a lot more damage. And again, for certain fights or bosses, like that can be really powerful depending on if you're like
All
really
about
good at
picking
parrying stuff.
picking the right ones for the right situation.
Yeah, but like, and again, everything it's doing is like good, just not best in class, right? Like it's not Hollow Knight, right? It's extremely well made and polished, and it feels really well balanced and refined. This is a game like the first one, I think maybe was in early access for a year before it hit 1.0, which for this style of game, which is just a single player Souls-like Metroidvania, probably not a game that needs to be in early access, but because of that, when it did finally come out, it just leads to like it's just a really polished, well-made one of these, which is why these games like this game I picked up in Fantasy Critic, because I knew that if you do this kind of game really well, it's gonna score well because it's that genre that scores really well.
What
It's
did
just
it land on in Fantasy Critic? I can't even
I
remember.
think it's at an 85, and the first one was like an 85. So
it's a safe genre, bro.
it's a safe genre, yeah. And the secret is that it's Japanese developed, so it's like it's dodging taxes. I don't want to admit that part, but that's
Tax
my
evasion.
tax
Tax
evasion,
evasion.
baby. That's how you win Fantasy
It's an
Critic. You
offshore tax
Why have
haven.
we not been
tax
calling this tax
evasion is how
evasion?
you win Fantasy Critic.
Tax evasion and insider trading.
Well, insider
I'm
trading,
reporting you to
that's
the
not-
IRS
I'm gonna take
tomorrow.
the Edison method and just start sending thugs to your guys' house. Like, make the
Wait,
trade.
you're the one doing the insider trading, Crispy. We'll get to that in a second.
Am I risking something naming this episode the Tax Evasion Show?
No, go for it.
No,
man.
but yeah, the IRS listens to our podcast.
Yeah,
You never know.
Japanese devs don't get taxed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but you
Sounds like
how you win the game.
Okay, cool. Sounds pretty dope. You know what?
But like I'm saying, like if this is a year where like Silksong's actually coming out and fucking Hades 2 and Mina the
You said
Howler
if.
and Slay the Spire 2, you know,
You
like
said
all
if.
these. There's some titans of indie royalty potentially coming out. It's not like this would not be the first one to jump on necessarily, but you know, if you have a handheld and you're like, I don't know what to play, like this is a good candidate. It goes down smooth.
I definitely don't have that issue at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you didn't like the first one that much, I don't know if you're.
Well, it's not that I didn't like
but,
it.
But some people, I've seen the reviews, Steam reviews and stuff that have said that, like, oh, I didn't really vibe with the first one, but I'm liking this one a lot more. You know, there's like more characters to like talk to and shit in this one, I guess. I don't know. I don't really understand all that, anyways. People, the story and stuff. Come on, grow up.
Read a book.
What the
exactly.
Fuck?
Like, oh, my video game story.
Hey. Yeah, you're such
Right?
You're
Like
such...
every time I was watching a cutscene in Final Fantasy Tactics, I was like, boring. Get back to the fights.
Well, you know, if they were all that good, then we would all pay attention.
You're such a bitch sometimes. All right. Speaking of good stories, I just wanted to revisit because I mentioned earlier I finished Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 over the past weekend.
Rolled credits.
I rolled credits, and what credits they were,
Did you bang Sir Hans?
No, I did not.
Oh.
I did not.
So did you really play Kingdom Come?
Yeah,
that seems to be a sentiment I've seen several places.
But like, why, Nick? You gotta, you gotta ask yourself why.
Question, because you're just gonna frame it and make it sound like I'm homophobic or something, and that is not.
Why? Is there something you're about to say that sounds homophobic?
Did you pick the big booby lady instead, Nicholas?
No, I picked Rosa.
I didn't even know there were women in this game.
They're in. I had a lovely relationship forming with Rosa, in a really cool, unexpected way, I might add, because like there's a few different characters you can romance in the game, but like the way you go about it and the way it kind of like introduces, it's not just a matter of like talk to this person. And, you know, it gives you a dialogue option that's like, pick this one if you want to like trigger a romance, whatever. It's not really like that. Like, I had this conversation. I was doing a mission for her father, and then I kind of like wandered over to her and started talking to her. And just kind of like in the course of our conversation, she mentioned something about her favorite book, but she had lost it because her castle had been raided or whatever, and she had to leave it behind. And she would love to someday get it back or whatever. So later on, I'm sneaking back. I'm doing a mission where I'm sneaking back into that castle, and I remembered that conversation, and I was like, I bet I could find that book. And I went and I found the book, and I brought it back to her like a couple hours later, and suddenly it's opening all these new dialogue options, and I was like, oh my god.
The words you're saying right now are like, I decided to romance a random NPC who gave me a side quest instead
but like
of
no,
fucking
like
Hans.
it doesn't. It doesn't give you a side quest. It's just a thing she says in conversation that like you could gloss over really quickly. You may not ever even remember to go and do it. It's not like it's like putting a marker on a map. It's just like she mentions there's this book and it's in this place.
No, I get you. The side quests are good in this game, but
it's very good. It's
Hans
very organic.
You and Hans is the greatest bromance of all time, man.
I honestly can't stand Hans.
Charmingly so, right? Like he's like, oh,
you can't
this dude
stand
is
him, and you just want to kiss him on the mouth to make
he's
him
a classist piece of shit. I can fix him.
He is a classist piece of shit, and he's like constantly like
I bet he's never even read Marx.
The number of times that we were doing, there was like this mission happening, like something terrible is happening, and like we've got to do this, like this is our only option, and he was like, I can't do that, I'm in the nobility, I'm above that, and then he like throws the wrench in the whole fucking plan, and then we have to like change the plan around him. Oh god, it was just so obnoxious. I was just like, he kind of annoyed me. I mean, like, I think he's a great character. He's a great character, like the way he's written, and I mean, I love him as a character, but man, I just
you can share your life with.
Not one that I could share my life with. I'm afraid not.
Nick, and that was you. That was you.
He
Maybe
needed
maybe so.
straightening out.
Maybe so.
So you're
but
finally over your gambling addiction. I'm proud of you.
I managed to get past my gambling addiction after a while. Because, I mean, eventually you get to a point where like gambling is not even the best way to make money. Like it's all about alchemy and selling potions and that hunting and stuff like that. Like so, like you eventually get to a point where like playing dice is fun and all, but it's like the return on
You don't
investment's
even
not
feel
all
the
that great.
rush anymore.
Yeah. Oh
It
man,
was
like
so close to being like an important life lesson there, and then you ruined it.
it's so
Gambling isn't the way to earn money in life. It's alchemy instead.
Yes, yeah. And man, alchemy is so cool in this fucking game. I like the amount of. I would love to see like the hour count, like the amount of hours I spent in this game just at the alchemy table, like brewing potions and shit, was probably pretty significant.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
We don't need to spend all day on this, right? We've talked.
No.
plenty
I
about this game,
I just
but, like, how did this? Like this could have been hour one of you playing the game, right?
What do you mean?
What am I looking at here? I'm saying like.
I recorded this like a week and a half ago.
But a week and a half ago, you were still 90 hours into this fucking game, right? Or whatever.
What is your question?
I guess what I'm saying is like, what does the game look like late in the game? Like you were saying, like, oh, this game's like one of my faves of all time, and I believe that. I really do.
It's a fucking go.
What is? Give me a few of those reasons why before we move on, because I'm not going to see it from like looking at this footage because this just looks like the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 I played, which I don't know how much I played, but
sure. I mean, one thing I will say, or a couple things I'll say, like Can you vamp for just a second, Brad? My headphones just turned off.
Yeah. Well, I was just getting at he's just sort of wandering around the forest, which is what I did, when I played the game.
You're not wrong.
What do you think?
Months ago.
Do you think later on in the game he finds like an ancient elven city or something, and it's like really
is it you're just getting a lot of like really great major story moments and minor story moments, side quest moments that are just really sticking with you? Because I mean, I think that's why The Witcher is like as impressive as it is. It's just like endless, like amazing little stories as you go through that game. And this is sort of what I'm saying is like you were high on this game kind of like after a certain point, and it just sort of like leveled off. Like it's just stayed consistently great, or did you have highs and lows? Did you have standout moments where there are like certain set pieces or quest lines that really stuck with you? Like what is the juice here in the end?
I'll say a couple ways to answer that question. One, I do think it is consistently great. I don't like. Everyone loves to talk about, like Red Dead Redemption. There's the lull in the middle when you go to Mexico, right? And like I don't think this has a Mexico, right? This has this story pretty much is consistently fantastic, and the side quests that you're constantly running into are consistently fantastic. I can't remember a single side quest that I did where I was like, well, that one feels like maybe a B tier side quest, or like maybe that one wasn't nearly as well written or designed as these other ones that I've done. Like it's the level of detail, the level of just dedication to writing and coming up with new crazy kind of like objectives and scenarios is just chef's kiss.
Like, is there cool systemic stuff that like still surprises like towards the end, or do you feel like you kind of figured it out? Like
you do eventually kind of, I think gameplay kind of levels off at a certain point, because for me, the progression was, holy shit, this combat system feels almost I got overwhelming, and I don't know if I can do it. By the end of it, I was like blocking and parrying and dodging and doing these like sick ass counters and master striking like a crazy person, and like that like ramping up and like learning and like really getting into that system is like super satisfying and super rewarding.
Funny,
but it eventually
right?
kind of levels up.
The game is funny too.
The game, dude. Oh my god! Just real quick, like, because I know somebody in Discord was asking me. They were like, "I would love to hear more like kind of actual like examples of things that are great about like great moments in this game or whatever." And just as one that kind of like stuck with me really well, like you eventually run into this guy who's like who's part of this like bandit group, and he's got a fucking arrow stuck in his head. Like, someone shot him in the head, it didn't kill him, and of course, nobody knows how to get it out of his head, so it literally healed up in his head. And everybody in his group started thinking he's like the most, like, he's like this, like, miracle. A god, right? So they treat him like, oh my god, it's amazing. And then you do these missions, and eventually he ends up dying. And then,
spoilers.
So someone else in the group you run into like down the road later, they're like, I need to get my hands on that arrow, because the arrow was like a good luck charm, and like if you can give me that arrow, I'll have that power, whatever. And yeah, I was like, okay, so you have to go in this whole quest to kind of like figure out what happened to his body, where he was buried, and like get that arrow back. And then you take it to him, and the guy's like, all right, thank you.
Shove it in my head.
Shoot me in the head. And you're like, what? And you're like, he's like, yeah, I need you to shoot me in the head. And I'm like, well, and you have the option of like, I'm not going to do this, and like walk away. But I was like, of course I'm going to fucking do this. This is hilarious. And I pull out a bow, I knock up the arrow, and I shoot this motherfucker in the head, and he dies instantly. And that's the end of the fucking quest. And then I yank the arrow out of his head afterwards. Like, I loot it off of his body, and for the rest of the game, I have this, like, piece of this arrow in my inventory, and it just says arrow from dude's head or whatever. And it says, like, lucky arrow from dude's head, and I'm like, what? I never really figured it out. Does it actually do anything? Did it give me a buff? I don't fucking know. But I was like, I'm never taking it out of my inventory, like, just in case. And I will say this, I did start to feel like my luck was improving, like when I was like trying to like haggle with people, and I don't know if it had anything to do with the arrow, but like I like to tell myself it did. So like just shit like that. Yeah, the placebo. Like I don't know, man. Like the game has so many moments like that, and on top of that, like the actual like core narrative of the game is just consistently amazing. There's like a whole mission
Are you so
near the end of
impressed with this that you would consider going back to the first?
I mean, the first one wasn't nearly as well received, right? Like, it's kind of like I feel like this is a situation like Witcher 1 to Witcher 3 situation, maybe.
No.
It's not that.
Not that sort
It's not?
of jump.
No,
maybe like a Witcher 2 to Witcher
good.
3.
Like,
yeah,
one
like it's the same type of game.
Yeah.
I mean, I would consider it. I mean, but like it just feels kind of like I would have to imagine no matter what I do, it's going to kind of feel like a step backwards. But I mean, if the story and the
if you're in it
just
for like
as good,
stories now, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I imagine
Henry doesn't know how to read at the start of the game, so you have to learn how to read.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yes, I would
how
absolutely.
he meets Hans.
It's a direct sequel, so like there's a lot of
Yeah.
story that you'd get out of
His
that.
parents, all sorts of stuff.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I would definitely consider doing it. I mean, this is
It's on
pretty
Game
fucking
Pass.
incredible.
It launched in kind of a rough state, and
It's got to be in our Steam library, right? Somebody's got to have it, right?
Yeah, I have it. The thing is, like, it launched in a rough state, but like those aren't really issues anymore. So
yeah,
and it wasn't like so long ago. It might not be as big of a downgrade as you think. It definitely ain't Witcher 3 versus Witcher 1. That's
okay, I genuinely wasn't sure. I will just say, like, if you're looking for like a game, like I was just like, I can't believe the level of like not only just the amount of really good story in this, but like the quality of it consistently across the board is fucking incredible. There's a mission at the end of this game where you're basically infiltrating, like you're basically kidnapped, like you're standing in for the Pope, and you're like having to pretend to be the like basically this is representative for the Pope. Yeah, it is, and like I spent like an hour in this room having these conversations, trying to like pick dialogue that made people believe that I was who I said I was, and it was stressful as hell. But it was like I was like, oh my god, this is so good. It's so fucking good, and like I don't know. I'll say less. It's just, man, fucking love this game. This is a GOAT for me. Absolutely. Anyways, okay. Crazy. All right. Crispy, has there been anything that you've... I know you didn't bring any footage or anything you've been playing that you want to get off your chest?
Since last we've talked, I have played...
I saw something pop up in my Steam.
I played the
other day.
Marathon closed alpha. Played the Marathon closed alpha. And I also just kind of on a whim started playing Warframe.
That's weird.
Because
You seem like Warframe coded, honestly.
Are you playing with friends?
No, I haven't been.
You know,
I've only
Austin
been going
Walker.
through like story stuff, and I'm still fairly early, but I'm a few hours into that. Marathon is probably a discussion. Marathon is
Yeah?
probably a talk.
That sounds like a big talk.
It's a pretty big talk. I think part of the thing is that and they were very upfront about this. The marathon alpha is not it doesn't even have like all the textures and stuff in it yet, like lighting and like game
Yeah.
textures.
Weird.
And it is a very like pared down UI. It's a very they're just kind of testing like the gunplay and like the loop of a round and like the different things that you can do in a match, right?
Right.
And it is I will say it's frustrating to play alone. I'm not. I don't have anybody that I'm playing with, and I've been doing randos, and then I did a couple where I just like solo queued, and it was like you get flashes of greatness, but it's one of those games where it's like this could be a really fucking cool game. This could be a really awesome game that develops a really like dedicated fan base, but it feels like it needs so much like charitability, and it needs so much like patience
Yeah.
that trying to make it the next big like Sony Studios multiplayer thing
It's a big ask.
is maybe a big ask, right? Like
Yeah.
like it's
The most common adjective I've heard to describe this game is clunky.
Well, so like the gameplay feels excellent. Like the sort of like the Bungie gunplay and like running around using your abilities, jumping, parkouring, like all that stuff feels awesome. Feels really cool. That definitely has like the Bungie sauce. The sort of like I've never played another extraction shooter, so I don't know how this really stacks up. I will say that like they give you a pretty big map. They put like only 6 3-man teams on one of them. I think the other one maybe has 8 teams. But one of them is like 6 teams, and then there's a bunch of NPCs. The NPCs are good. They're very like Halo Destiny kind of NPCs where they're wily, they have tactics, they're aggressive, they can like down you pretty easily, like they're dangerous. But like I just playing the couple hours that I did, I hardly like interacted with other teams, Like I think I maybe got into like 1 or 2 really good gunfights with other players, and that was about it. And then the rest of the time was just kind of me like playing against the game, playing against like the NPCs,
Yeah.
So I don't, like everything that they're setting up seems to be a game that requires evolution. Like a game that's like, stick with this season to season, see how the story evolves, see how the mechanics evolve. And like, enough people are just kind of like, oh, this thing's dead on arrival, that like, dude, I don't know, man. Like that's going to be rough.
Yeah.
And I think it might still score well. Like I think it might still score pretty well when it comes out. So for Fantasy Critic, like whatever, As far as
actual staying
we've been
power.
talking for like 3 years now about how like Marathon might be like Bungie's like last chance, that Marathon might be like a pretty bad blow for Bungie if it fails. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm a little nervous. Like, I'm a little nervous.
When is that supposed? Like, when is it supposed to actually
September
go into? September.
5 months. Which that I think is the big thing that's like, ooh, I don't know, right?
I mean, like the whole point of these closed alphas, right, is for like fine tuning and stuff. And we've seen games
fine tuning, but they're also taking a lot of feedback. Like they're taking this isn't like when Dark Souls does like a server test and maybe they're kind of testing server capacity, but the game's done and like the game is like kind of just or the test is like an advertisement for buying the game.
Yeah.
This feels a little more like final stage, like an actual alpha, final stage of development kind of thing, you know? Because they're making like next week they're patching out a like one of the things with the gunplay was that like even on mouse and keyboard it has reticle magnetism where like it'll pull your reticle towards enemies and there's like a stat that kind of like affects that, and they're switching it off next week after a bunch of people were like, this is crazy, like this doesn't feel good. So like they're making pretty big changes, and I will say like when you look at footage, like anything that's like an artificial texture, like the people or like the buildings, all that stuff seems done. The natural environment does not does not seem like it has the final textures on it. So the game looks kind of like muted and dull. So like it doesn't look as good as like, you know, like even like Destiny 2, like locations and like look at stuff from like look at environments from the Final Shape, and those are incredible. This is not up to that level yet, and I'm sure that's intentional because they're very much just trying to do like a gameplay thing, and then like also they're kind of dripping in like the long-term progression mechanics, like your contracts and shit like that.
Yeah.
But even that seems really pared down, and God, I want this game to be good. I want it. I want Bungie to succeed. I want them to keep making Destiny 2, you know? It is like this is a nail biter. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And the fact that like a lot of people, you know, are just, you know, whether for legitimate reasons or not, are kind of being negative about the game.
Yeah.
Doesn't, you know, fill me with confidence.
Right.
Like this is a game that needs, you know, like remember when Marvel Rivals came out? It just kind of like grabbed that social media attention. People were like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" And like a bunch of Overwatch people were like, "This is like playing Overwatch in 2016. This is cool," you know?
Yeah.
It hasn't struck a nerve yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's kind of neat to,
except for like the art style. Some people are like really into the art style. I love it.
I think it looks cool. I think the art style's
sick as hell. And I mean, yeah, but yeah, it feels like it hasn't struck a nerve yet, you know?
Yeah.
You hear about?
Hopefully that moment comes.
Did you hear about Gundam and Overwatch?
Oh, did I hear about it? Are you kidding
me?
Yeah. Hell yeah, I did. Gundam Wing for the 30th anniversary.
Yeah. Fucking 30th year.
Shit.
God.
I think maybe like Bungie's weird, right? Because they always want to do these big like self-contained media events for like introducing their new thing, and I think maybe doing that with Marathon might have like bit them in the ass a little bit, you know? I don't know because like they're kind of like ready to be like, here it is, take a look at it, but they want the pomp and circumstance of like an hour of just kind of like massaging the whole thing.
Right.
And I don't know.
I mean, as part of like the media blitz that they did for ahead of this, they got a famous director to do a short about Marathon.
And that shit's so good. And that's like the one thing that everybody was like, that was the cool part of the presentation was the short that they did. And even the short, like, so like the short is like getting into stuff about like, 'cause, you know, like Marathon lore, like they have like an old kind of counterpart to the Covenant called the Four, which is like a bunch of aliens, right? And that's kind of like a big part of Marathon is fighting these Covenant that don't exist in the Marathon game that we have, but they're in that trailer, right? So that's one of those things where like is the story going to evolve to where we've, those guys come into play again? Like imagine playing a Halo game and you're just fighting,
The
humans
flood constantly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if they made a Halo game about the fucking the colonist uprisings, and it's just like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to fight Covenant, right? I want to fight aliens and weird shit.
Give me the aliens.
Yeah. We'll see.
I mean, I look at it.
It could be Sony. It could be Sony. Like Bognoy says, it could be Sony really like putting the spurs to them to get it out this year.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's not the best move. Like I don't know. It
Yeah,
should really only come out if it's ready, because like we've seen what happens when these things hit and they're not ready.
But yeah, especially with some of the rumors that happened today in the news. So.
So, yeah. That's Marathon.
All right. Well,
maybe I'll talk about it when we get a little closer and I have footage.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, we're approaching 11 o'clock, so why don't we go ahead and start wrapping up with the 4-player minute?
I guess my 4-player minute can be fantasy critic talk.
Sure, go for it. Book it.
There's been some revelations, right? A couple of things have come out. The big one is the theft that happened weeks ago.
It was up for sale.
It was up for sale. Okay, here's the thing. This was so as y'all may or may not know, I play in the Fantasy Critic Discord Super League, which are like, people who the sickos congregate. There's a lot of strict rules, and the leagues are filled. I mean, they're very large leagues with very large rosters, and everything's private bidding, and you're not allowed remakes. You're not allowed, early access. Like, you're very limited, and you're playing with a lot of people with very big rosters, right? I believe it's like on draft night, we had to pick up like 72 games total on just draft night. And like, because my division has, and there's multiple divisions. My division had, no, not each, but like on draft night, there were 72 games drafted.
Okay. I was like, what the fuck?
Anyways, the thing is, all the divisions, all 6 divisions in the Super League, they all draft, and it's not like a live draft. It's like you draft and then it goes to the next person. They're just, people are drafting through the site, right? But their spots are kind of showing what everything's picked up. But the thing that I noticed, because this is the first time I played in this league, is that everyone just starts sniping each other's stuff, stealing each other's stuff, right? Because everybody's drafting it like different. It takes like a few days to get through a draft, and everyone can see everybody in everybody else's division drafting shit. All this to say, like, I was like, yo, boom, Star Vaders, motherfucker. This was a draft night game for me, and none of the other divisions had it. No one was even like had this shit on their radar. This was a bona fide Brad pick. I did the legwork to get the developer to admit that it was launching 1.0 and it wouldn't be early access, because let me tell you, a roguelike deck builder is like textbook, or like this game launches in early access first. I got him to admit it's coming this year and it wasn't going to be early. Anyways, I did all the legwork. This was my fucking baby. Crispy stole that shit. And 3 other of our community leagues ended up drafting it.
I paid cash American for
never
it.
even heard of this fucking game. I did the legwork, and these motherfucking, and this shit happened in Super League too. All these other divisions, they saw that I drafted it. They started bidding on it as well. These motherfuckers didn't even know what it was. Anyways, it came out. It's an 87.
To be honest, I love to see it.
This motherfucker, though. This motherfucker. Now, I was so annoyed. Because this is one I had been eyeing for a long time. And it was something I picked up on draft night in Super League in January. And I wanted it for this league, but I thought I was going to be able to slide under the radar, and it was either not going to be picked up by anybody, which I've done with a few releases this year. Like, I don't have enough money to grab them, but I don't have to introduce it into public bidding. I could just let it go, right? And this is one that I was hoping just maybe no one would pick up. But it did, and it's like at 87, and I think it actually has potential to go up. The 5 out of 5 sites are going to pop up, and it's a well-liked, like, people played the demo and were like saying like, oh, this is one to watch. Like, all the Slay the Spire like players were like, oh, this is good. Local Thunk the creator Balatro was like, yo, this one seems legit. So I knew this one has some sauce, even though it's not like as like visually exciting as like Balatro. It was never going to be a Balatro. Nothing is ever going to be a Balatro at this point. But it's a very respectable score. I had it as an 85 plus potential. So glad to see it's doing that well, except it's not on my roster. It's on Crispy's roster. And fuck that motherfucker.
I think I speak for all of us when I say congratulations, Crispy.
He stole Karen from me too. And y'all will see when Karen comes out, but that's also going to be a 85 pluser.
Brad's over here playing Moneyball, and I'm over here playing Banana Ball.
Fucking Ricky Henderson over here. That's a baseball MLB joke.
Oh, thanks.
Ricky Henderson. Got it? Y'all got it, chat?
I don't get
Ricky Henderson over here.
Johnny Bench.
I can't tell if you're talking about me because my last name's Henderson or if you're still talking about Crispy.
No, Ricky Henderson. He's like lead all-time base stealer, whatever. Chat's on strike.
Gotcha. All right, Crispy, your response?
My response is, fucking get good, you stupid poor.
I have $2 left, so I'm very poor.
Yeah, what's funny is Brad was scrubbing messages in the other Discord to prevent things like this from happening.
Well,
but he missed one.
I'm a little too chatty about my picks.
But he missed one.
Too chatty? No.
Well, we have like private channels for like specifically Super League, but I talk about it in all the channels over there, so it's yeah.
Also, another one of my games finally launched, but it didn't do as well.
Skin Deep.
Yeah, Skin Deep, the Blendo games.
It's okay. This has potential to go up as well, I think. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
What's it sitting at?
There's very few reviews.
Right now it's at 78, I believe.
Yeah. There's very few reviews.
Kind of ridiculous to me.
Just wait till the British sites put out their reviews. They'll love it.
Yeah.
A lot of physical humor,
Oh, yeah.
Eurogamer 5 out of 5. I can see it now. Oh, wait, no, they did a 4 out of 5, actually.
Those fuckers. They fucked me, though.
No,
Some guy named Giovanni fucked me.
No. It's early.
Give me a 3 out of 5. What are you talking about? We'll see. But
I'm very excited to play that game, too. There's like a lot of cool games coming out.
This is I'm only just now getting games coming out. Like the only game I've had launched this year before Skin Deep was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So my whole list is still like upcoming. So watch out. I'm going to fucking fall on you from a terrible height.
I'm still playing the long game and just waiting until everybody runs out of money.
By November, you're going to think there's 10 of me. You know what I'm saying?
You, Carlos, and Nolan have not picked up a single game. Not only is my roster full, all of my games but 2 of them have already come out.
I thought about bidding this week when Chris Davis bid on Unbeatable.
Unbreakable.
But
Unbeatable.
I opted. I was like, that does look cool.
Nah, you were smart to dodge that one. That's a Chris Davis L. I wouldn't have picked it up honestly, but whatever.
Everything I've read about it and all the impressions from the 3 demos they've done in like the past 3 years has been very positive.
You've had your one miracle for the year, Chris Davis.
It doesn't have a date though. It doesn't. This doesn't.
2025. Hey.
I mean, there's still a lot of 2025 left. All right.
Yes.
Crispy, anything else you want to say for your 4-player minute, or are you?
No, I'm good. Oh no, the rehearsal. No. I watched episode 2 of the rehearsal.
Oh,
so
I haven't watched episode 2 yet.
It's so good. That show is incredible.
I might not be emotionally prepared to watch this show. That first episode for me was actually really intense. And I was like, this is like if this, there's a lot of ways this could go, but like there's like a certain moral responsibility he has now not to like make it about something else. I feel like it's just a little.
Yeah. Oh my god, he goes on a tangent about a Nathan For You episode, and it's so good. Oh god,
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. It's a lot.
It's so good. It is art. It is maybe one of
It
the
is.
best things on television.
Like, were those actual transcripts from crashed planes they were reading?
Dude, I think so. Like
That's intense, dude.
NTSB, like
That's
yeah,
intense.
like
People die.
dude, dude, just wait, just fucking wait. Ah, he kills somebody in episode 2. No, that's not true.
Jesus Christ. All right, Chris Davis, your turn has come.
Yeah. My hype right now is just getting to play more in Expedition 33. I'm in love with this game. I don't give a shit about Fantasy Critic with this game. This almost feels like the Lost Odyssey sequel I've kind of wanted. That's a whole other conversation. I did want to talk about a little bit of news that happened today that might be related to Fantasy Critic. Borderlands 4 got pushed forward by a couple weeks.
It
Not
did.
my Fantasy Critic.
They're so
no
they're
link I'm
so-
in. That's not...
like, oh yeah, we're ready. We're so ready. We're gonna launch early.
Yeah. They're so ready.
What are they
they're
trying
ready-
to get out of the way of? Are they trying to get out of the way of Ghosts of Tsushima or Ghosts of Yotai?
No,
That's
they're
early
the
October, huh?
publisher's other major big game that's launching this fall.
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, are you saying they have some insider knowledge about GTA?
I mean, that is
that
the
what you're
strategic
suggesting?
move. Yeah.
I mean, that's possible. It's possible.
That's
Anything's
the beginning of
possible.
that fiscal quarter.
Oh,
You get out of the way by a
shit.
month, give them a few weeks to get some sales. GTA comes out, it rolls the bank for the rest of the year, and then
everything else dies on the vine.
yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
just saying, if this, y'all are fucked. Y'all are absolutely fucked. You
I mean, not as
Who-
fast as Crispy if that comes out.
Who was it that counterpicked it? Was that Crispy?
Yeah. Who's
Yeah.
to say that GTA 6 is even?
But I
good
can
yet?
still super drop it.
You could.
You might make
save
sure
your
you
40
save some-
bucks.
save
But
that
yeah,
40 bucks.
You
just
should
like-
wait till June
Well,
29th because I think
Yeah,
we'll
but
know.
say he has to hold on to it. He has to get rid of it before June, end
You
of
don't
June.
need to rush it.
So hopefully we know something soon. Anything else, Chris Davis? Any other thoughts there? Or?
not really.
No?
I just
All right.
I wish this podcast would end and I didn't have to go to work tomorrow so I could play just more 33.
Well, I'll give you what you want. I'm keeping my 4-player minute pretty short because
Also,
of
fuck
course,
you, fandom, for what you're doing the Giant Bomb. Fuck you.
Oh yeah.
Pieces of shit.
What are they doing? Is this the PG-13 thing?
Well, they also laid off one of the guys.
Who'd they lay off?
Nikki.
But he was not. Was he actually? He didn't actually work there.
Well, he was more at GameSpot, but like, yeah, he got laid off. And who knows if Giant Bomb will exist next week? So,
I mean, I feel like this is like the third time that's happened to Giant.
They've been merging anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking sucks. Anyways, where was I? My 4-player minute. Gonna keep it short. This is pretty predictable for me. But today we got our first teaser trailer for Dexter Resurrection.
Whoa.
July 11th, baby. It's premiering on July 11th. The 2-episode premiere. That's pretty fucking exciting. Oh my god, that's like 2 months away. Oh, I'm living my best life. And yeah, that's.
Did you watch that trailer for that Zach Kreger movie?
What? What do you do? Listen to this
Weapons?
podcast. Oh, Malia told me to watch that, but she
Dude,
also said maybe I can't
it
watch it.
It looks
Wait.
so good.
What is it called? What is it called? What's it called?
Weapons?
Weapons? I have not, but I will check that out.
It looks so good. That movie's gonna
Cool.
be crazy.
Cool. And yeah, that's I'm gonna
episode 2 of Last of Us.
episode 3. You mean?
No,
Oh
episode 2.
well, episode 2. Yeah, I guess that has transpired since the last time we recorded. Wonderful episode. Fucking amazing. I did go back on the Fantasy Files podcast to talk about The Last of Us. Like I did the last season, so we spent a couple hours talking with The Last of Us this past week.
You should get caught up on The Last of Us if you haven't. If you're a gameplay, well, I mean, at this point, you've either watched the show or you played the game. But I think certain things that people thought they were going to save for later in the season.
Yeah, that's not happening. But yeah, it continues to be pretty damn fucking good. Guys, we're gonna keep it short this week. I'm wrapping it up. Gotta go to bed. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Brad, Crispy, both thank you guys for being here, despite both of you being maybe not feeling the best today. Much appreciated. Your dedication is. I mean, thank you, Chris Davis. You're always dedicated too.
We're in love the game.
You're welcome.
Yep. In the meantime, everybody, we'll of course be on Discord at discord.gg/4player. We'd love to have you there, and you can find all of our episodes on 4playernetwork.com. But in the meantime, be good to each other, play video games, and good night. As the cat tries to scratch the door down to get in here.
382.
Let her in.
8:32.
Everyone in chat, go follow our league on Fantasy Critic. We are at 49. We're in like 6th place in the list.
Damn, weren't we in like 3rd place for a bit?
Yeah, and then others start to pick up. The NFL 2 is bested us. They're now 54 to our 49.
Boo hiss. Boo hiss.
Yeah. But we're still above Jeff Grubb and Mike Minotti.
Don't forget to upload your audio, guys, whenever you have a chance, but hopefully sooner rather than later.
I'll do it as soon as I'm done here.
Bye.
But
wow.
And he's gone.
Fucking bailing.
Yeah, I gotta bail too. I'll see you guys next week.
All right. Hope you feel better, Crispy.
Yeah. Let me know if I can do anything for you, man.
Yep.
All right. See you guys.
Just posted, buddy. Okay, he's gone.
Yeah.
All right. I too have to leave because I'm gonna have a long day tomorrow.
You have a long day tomorrow. What are you doing?
I mean, I'm going to work, but I don't have a car, so my wife has to take me in early, and I'm not gonna leave until later because I have to wait for her to pick me up. So I'm gonna basically be working an extra 2 hours tomorrow, which, whatever. It's not the end of the world. It's just
Well, let that eat into your Friday.
I don't wanna. God damn it!
Don't work. Get those hours back on Friday. Think about that.
We'll see.
Okay.
I'm just exporting my audio here, and then I'm shutting it down. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye, chat.
We'll see you later.